going to start recording here. I'm going to be sending this to everyone after. I'm just going to talk a little bit about myself first. Just take a few minutes. I've been doing SEO for 13 years. When I was in high school, I ranked a website because kids wanted me to build them a website to do a lawn care business, and we got clients. I've never met any of them, and we mowed lawns all through SEO. I have a small team. It's a pretty good team. We focus on kind of like the external companies, like pressure washing companies, roof cleaning, and people that do roofs, siding, vinyl siding, windows, all those good things. And those guys are essential right now, right? And so what I put together that I learned from other SEOs, and even if you don't deal with small businesses, this process is a pretty high technical sort of process here. I look at about 100 things. So even if I'm talking to clients for the first time, I say, hey, I'm going to go make you a roadmap. It's going to troubleshoot 100 things. Like, do you guys even have Google Analytics set up? Are you guys even on Bing or Yahoo? Right? So I check for these things, and it helps build a client expectation. It helps build clients, value. And then I go through like the rest of this process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this website. This is a pressure washing company. They don't rank at all, right? They don't have anything here for this site. So we wrote some copy for them, and they just wanted a website, and they basically just have like one blog post, and that's there's one blog post in there somewhere. They don't rank. And if you look up Hrefs or if you look up their name, they don't show up. I think they have a Google My Business. They're not anywhere. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through and basically audit this website. We're going to go out and say, okay, well, what's missing here? It looks nice. It looks cool. Why is it not getting calls? Why is it not driving results? Why is it not like creating any value? It shouldn't be like a business card. It shouldn't be a flyer. It should produce calls. So I'm going to go through this audit, and along the way, feel free to just ask questions. I've already done this audit here in advance, but I'm going to go through and explain this. If you're dealing with clients, or if you're talking and trying to help your first client, showing them this is way, way different than having a conversation that says, yo, you suck, let me help you. Right? So show of hands, any questions so far? I'm just going to go pop in and check anything. Feel free to just ask questions or dip out or go from there. If you have a question, you can just leave a question in the QA or post something on Discord. I'm going to check the QA more often. So I'm just going to go dive in and check Discord before I hop in. Okay, cool. So what I do is I basically get access to the website first. I get access to Google Search Console, Google Analytics, and Google My Business. But let's suppose I don't have any of that. Let me just make a copy of this to check for later. So I'll be sending you guys this at the very end. Like if you find it useful, I'm just going to email it to you. So let me just delete this. So the way this works is it's just a red flag or not. I mean, if this makes sense, it's just technical issues. I'm not going to be talking about the theory. You can ask me about it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to check for each row for this website. I'm going to check for each row, each bullet point in this process. I'm going to go check if it's initially a problem, and I'm going to put down green meaning good, it's fine, skip it, who cares, it's good, and red meaning, hey, red flag, hold the brakes, this is what we got to do, Mr. Client, right? So I'm just going to go in and check this. So this first part is huge. If you're looking at your website, you see how it has like this HTTPS up here? Like that should be the preferred version of how you visit the site, but sometimes there's duplicates, and you can check for this. The HTTP is not the same as HTTPS. It actually creates duplicates. So if I click on that and I check, it's fine. Also, if I do this, that's different than without. So let me check for that. Does it go back to the original? Okay, it does. Let me check this. Does this redirect to what we want it to? No. Did I break the website? Google crawls this. By default, if someone types in this and visits it, does it break the website? What happened there? Let me try again. Okay, so it broke. This is bad. So I'm gonna put down a red flag and I leave something in notes. And by the way, if you have a team, I basically have, I do sales. I basically am the front-facing sales guy for the most part. And I just write down my problems and I just outsource this to someone that I've trained, that I say, hey, here's the problem. Make all these red flags green. Does not redirect. So I write down a little bit of context. So the reason for it is if someone is visiting your website, Google indexes multiple pages of the site. And if this is the same as this, you're basically you're having a website compete against itself, which is terrible. So that's basically what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through all of this. I'm going to have a Screaming Frog crawl go. I'm going to go look at some keywords that it might be showing up for, and then I'm just going to do the work. The goal is to get this in the map section within, as quickly as possible. Let me check. Oh, sure. I'll respond to this in a moment. Would be good to know what you do for maintaining websites, spurts of updating content. Yeah, no, I'll talk about this in a bit. Right, cool. Does it have a fave icon? The fave icon is a thing up here. Right now, it's like it's a crappy looking fave icon. It doesn't tell me anything that I see blue and red. I could probably look at the actual fave icon, but it should be improved. Improve fave icon, maybe add the reason that's important, because some searches, like the fave icon pops up, and by default, you want to have something there. Otherwise, you get this generic gray globe. You can get like a favicon generator. Sitemap in the robots. The robots file is a text file that is instructions for Google and any other web crawler. Right now I see that there's a default file. That's not fun. We don't want to have a default file. I'll give you the settings for that. So basically, you can tell Google not to visit certain pages. For the most part, let me show you exactly what I mean. Screaming Frog Crawl is one of the best SEO tools. If you're auditing a website, it tells you some problems the site might have, but we can run it. We can visit a website how Google visits it or how Bing visits it, right? I'm going to put in the website, and it's going to start crawling, and you're going to see how Google visits the website. It goes to this, and then it sees what other things are related, other links, and it goes from there. So it finds the terms of service, the blog, the feed, but it also finds these random ass fucking files. We don't want to waste Google's time. We're telling Google to spend time looking at this block of code. It's just plugins. It's just how the site works. Google doesn't and shouldn't care about this, right? So that's a WordPress part of the website. It's in WP includes. There's WP content, right? Google doesn't care about that. They just want to spend more time on your services, right? There's a lack of service pages, but if that makes sense. So I see that sitemap is not really set up, and the sitemap itself isn't in the robots. The sitemap would literally just be here. You would say sitemap, and a sitemap's a list of all the pages on the site. I don't see it. We'll talk about how you can quickly solve these, but at first we're just going to go and initially like troubleshoot problems. So let's just check where the HTML sitemap is. Usually the HTML sitemap is for people. So if I see it down below, I see a sitemap, I see a privacy policy FAQ. I'm just going to double check this. And there we go, there's a sitemap. So it's in HTML because it's for people. It's kind of useful for a person. It could be better, but we do have something in the bottom. It's just to help people. So far, so good. I'd leave a comment to say, could look nicer. There are plugins that make a sitemap and it looks nice. Let's look at this. Let's go back up to the menu. The first page is a landing page. Most clients spend maybe $200 to $500 for a basic 1 or 2 or 3 page website. Most big agencies, big box agencies package a website for like $100 a month, and this is it. I don't see much. I see an empty blog. I see get a quote, not a lot of stuff. So I'm going to say, okay, well, you could add one. Add one. Same with the contact page. Do they have a contact page? They do. Let me check. Yep, default stuff, click to book. And I'll be able to check if this works. But the FAQ section is broken and not fun. So this is going to make my job a whole lot more difficult. But this is where we're starting off. Basically, a website that's brand new, but we're just troubleshooting required things that the website should have. Contact page is broken. It's just need to finish. So I'd send that to the client and say, you need to do this. Terms of service and privacy policy. Google has said you need to tell your people that they're not using a broken website. Do they have something here? You have something here. Again, I'm just gonna put that on. Make sure it looks better. Make it look better. It's not even in the right name. So it's not even for the right business. So if I click on it, it says this, and it's the wrong website. They have the right email or the right URL here, but the wrong thing here. This is off of a template. They copy pasted. It's really bad. This is terrible. Now let's look at the categorized URL structure. Let me show a site that I'm working on that has a good structure. This is one of my sites. So they do like repairs. They do construction. So if I go up here, you click mold damage repair. If you look up here, damage repair / mold damage repair is shitty, but it's still a structure, right? I'm repeating this again, but you want to have some sort of structure. On ACE, there's no structure. There's not. It's just one page, which is bad. Add structure, and we've done some keyword research from earlier. Oops, not this one. We've done some keyword research from earlier, and we have this, but there's no structure. So you would do something like external cleaning / concrete cleaning. As it would be a service page, and this would be a more specific service. This would be general, this would be specific. I don't see that on the site. Uncategorized pages or posts. Let me go in. There's one blog post I put together for them. It's just one little post. So far, so good. If you see a WordPress blog post that says uncategorized, that's a big bad sign. I only keep one category for all of the blog posts until they get to like 20 blog posts. When they have 20 blog posts, they could get a new category. The reason for it is this category page becomes its own page. And you don't want to waste Google's time by having them index the category pages. No one looks up random small business category pages. They just want to see the blog post. I'm trying to have this load. So let's check this. If I had, let's see, if I had Google Search Console attached to this, I would be able to export this, and I'd be able to see the clicks. I'd be able to see if any of them are like 302ing, which means it's not properly redirected. I don't think I even have Google Search Console set up, but if you're dealing with a big website, if they have pages at 404, make sure you can redirect them to the right page. Oftentimes, they've redesigned their website multiple times. If you find pages that just get absolutely no traffic, it's a waste for everyone's time. And if Google Analytics and Google Search Console just show that no one ever really visits the website, don't waste Google's crawl budget. Just foreten it. Take the content and post somewhere else, or make a bigger post with all the content from a crappy or no value page. With these guys, it's fine. A 302 is if it's a 302 is a temporary redirect. These guys don't. I'm pretty sure these guys have a status code of 200 for everything. Oh, there's a 404. Oh, yep. So this was like a copied site. So they do have stuff. So I'm going to go through and say, Mr. Client, you have pages 410 other random pages. So this is like useless from. So you just want to use a plugin to tell Google, hey, this page was built before, it's useless. We don't want Google to see it. It doesn't get traffic. We don't want it. So now Google Analytics keeps track of conversions. And I'm going to go answer questions when I get to the end here. If I'm on, let's say, is there a form on the front? Yep, let me just check this. So if I put that on this, that's me too. That's me. If I click send message, small businesses just want phone calls and you want messages. So if I click this, oh, what's this form do? Oh my God. How many numbers? Oh my gosh. The best practice is to redirect this to a page that says something like, thank you for contacting us. You can use Google Analytics to track all of the people that come to this page, and you can say every form fill is worth maybe $50 to the client. So if you track every person that comes to this page, Google Analytics can say, hey, we made you, $200. You got 4 leads, right? Right now, it's just a default thanks. It's within this module. It's easy to edit. You can redirect stuff on success. It should be fine. Right now, I don't see that in place. It's easy to set up, and we'll be able to do that. Are all footer and header links, do they work? I mean, no, they work, but they're lackluster. All right, we're going to be talking about indexation problems and setting up Google Search Console and Google Analytics. And I've gotten a few messages of people asking what those are and how you can set those up. So I'm just going to pop in. That audit report Excel sheet is super useful. Is it available to use, or is it custom? The audit report Excel is, let me just answer it. I'm sending this to everyone in an email. Other than the URL site structure, how would you structure that? Usually it's on services. Let's say I'm a roofer, right? What do I specialize in exteriors, so if they do services, they would have something like that, and then they would go into a more specific deeper page. Now, all these pages link to each other. It's called a silo. So if I do roofing services, right? What's even more specific? So you can have roof repair, right? And that could be a roof repair page, or it can do something like roof install, right? And that would be a structure. Or it could be like shingle replacement, right? Or some of them, you know, they go down like this. The money is if you have the structure set up, you can do something where you're attaching the city, because that's the keyword, right? You're basing this off of keywords. You know, then you fit in the service. So Minneapolis, you know, shingle repair, and then you can make a page for St. Paul and make a page for, you know, all these other cities. It's these pages that rank, right? It's really easy. Everyone's competing for the, you know, the 100 or 200 volume keyword that has like 20 difficulty, but no one's competing for basic phrases. People aren't typing in these phrases necessarily, but it'll trigger the geo and local stuff to trigger the maps, because it literally says, hey, you're in Burnsville. There's literally a page that says Burnsville shingle repair. So they go hand in hand, if that makes sense. Do you not want to duplicate many words? Yeah, Google's like said this, only keep like 4 words like in the URL. So if something's like, because sometimes you see something like best roofing tips for business owners or something, Google only reads like the first few words. So if you have like your keyword up here, like they're not going to see that at all. So keep it simple under 4 words, right? I mean, the keywords they're talking to are just going to be like 2 or 3 words, like roofing, New York City or something. Like it's going to be really basic. All right, let me continue. Show of hands, is this helpful? I know this is pretty, you know, some people are more like advanced, some people are new. Okay, cool. No, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks. So let me keep going on. So indexation. Indexation is basically you telling Google that you should be in their file cabinet. Google's just one big file cabinet. And you don't want Google to spend time to look at pages that shouldn't be in the file cabinet. So we want Google to spend time reading pages, understanding more about this. So if they were crawling this, they would understand all of these things. We don't want them to spend time here. We don't want to spend time on like a random blog post. We don't want to spend time in the directories of just code. We don't care about that. Google doesn't care about that. They just care about understanding the context of the website so it can better explain, because Google's trustworthy and they want to stay trustworthy. So I'm going to check this. I'm going to check this site. I'm also going to check this other site, because this site's a bit more advanced and typical of a more established, you know, $1 to $5 million client. So thank you pages. When I said that if you're redirecting a thank you, you know, if someone fills out this form and it goes to a thank you page, you don't want Google to access that page. You want Google Analytics to track that page, but you don't want people to send traffic to that page. So if there's a thank you page, you know, let's say there's a sale, let's say someone booked an appointment, let's say someone signed up for your webinar, make sure Google can't see it. And the way you would do that, again, you would put that into the robots. Yep. So you would put that here. You would tell Google, hey, disallow people that would go to the thank you page, right? You can still track it, just don't crawl it. Don't index it, don't put it in Google. So if someone types in ACE pressure washing thank you page, it'll mess it up. If someone visits it, the business is going to get wrong information. They're going to say, hey, we got 4 leads, but analytics only says we got 5 conversions. But that's wrong, right? Client will be upset. So these guys don't even have that set up, but it could be, right? It could be improved. Actually, no, it's not set up. Add to robots, disallow, you know, no, I'm just gonna put that in here. PDFs, I'm gonna catch slack. I don't believe PDFs should be indexed. PDFs are normally used for opt-ins, and Google can't really read PDFs as well. There are ways that you can use PDFs if you're doing like a GStack, but you're not trying to use PDFs if you're trying to index the site. So what I mean by that is if you're using, let's say there's a PDF, I could search for this. So I'm going to go search the site, and normally how I check is I go in, I do site plus PDF. Is there a PDF that's indexed? Right? I probably have this search wrong, but is there a PDF that's indexed? No. Usually people that want a PDF should just get it from an opt-in, because you can't track people if they get the PDF directly. Sometimes I see customers or clients, they have like a PDF here. We don't care for that. Don't waste Google's crawl budget. So these guys are fine. Dates. Sometimes, if you have like a blog, you might be able to see something like this. If you see like a big website with a ton of posts, they usually have like a blog where they have like an archive, right? I don't know if this site has it, but they usually have like an archive, and the way that by default, most WordPress sites go, they go by the dates. So you'll see like blog / 01, what's the date? It would be like whatever, 04, whatever. And it'll say, 17 tips for, whatever. That's terrible. No one ever looks up blog posts published in March in the year 2020, unless if they're like weird. No one does that. They just look up how can I do better? Like how do I, tips for SEO. That's what they type in. And then they see someone that wrote like 100 tip blog posts and they click. The thing with that is the URL itself can fit the keyword, and you're boosting all the pages if they're linking to each other. The more close to the root is the more general and more, catch all, and the deeper you go, the more specific. That's why when you go to Amazon, you go Amazon /shoes / female shoes / heels / stilettos / 17-inch stilettos. God, that's nuts. Don't index and don't follow dates. Make sure that your blog doesn't have that. I could check this to see if there's anything here. Right now, there's no problem, but sometimes they'll see that. Like there's blog posts, 2017 blog posts, and it's like, we don't want to index it, right? So if there's like a category of that, we don't want that. So far so good. Authors. So if I look this up again, and I look up author, sometimes it'll tell you, hey, this is like an author page. I could probably find it too if I click on this. Would I be able to find it? No. Usually there's a page, and this happens on this websites that people have tons of blog posts in. No one is looking up the author for a blog post, but by default, sometimes WordPress gives you a page. Usually it looks like author / maybe it is this. Oh, let me take a look. Maybe it is this, right? Sometimes it might actually be like that. No one cares. Like right here, archives 2020. We don't want that, but I redirected it, so it's not a problem. That's why it doesn't show up. So I'm actually gonna leave a note. Page exists. Just get rid of it. It's in the footer. So all this is about using Google's crawl budget. The Google spider doesn't have infinite time and energy. If you're trustworthy, it'll spend more time on your site. Authors, so far, I don't think it's a big deal. Post tags and product tags. Let me see if I can. So I was talking with this coaching company. I don't know if they took my advice. They have tons of tags on their blog posts, and they have uncategorized blog posts. They only have like 30 blog posts. If I click on this, I bet they have like 1 or 2 posts. This is terrible, because if Google looks at this page, keep in mind, this is basically a new page in Google's eyes. Nothing on this page is unique. Nothing on this page is new. This is all basically, here's the top, here's the title of this blog post, and here's the picture, and here's the first sentence, the first two sentences of this blog post. Where can Google see this? In the actual blog post. You're basically wasting Google's time by doing this. Plus, it's not fun for Google. A tag is basically a category, but like not like easier to spam. Google doesn't care for tags, right? And it's much better if they kept one category, hell, even one tag, whatever. Tags are the same. I prefer categories. And it's just stack it. Like have one for the keyword. It's life coach St. Paul. Have that be the category, life coaching St. Paul. They're going to, that category page, like this page, if the top here said blog posts for life coaching St. Paul, if that was the keyword, they'd get to the top because now there's all this content and it's all interlinking, it'd be better. But if they have tons of these, they're going to dilute their efforts and Google's going to be more frustrated. On our site, it's not a problem because it's not even there. On this site, there's 2 blog posts by builder. I don't think there's any categories here. So keep one category for 20 blog posts. Thank me later. So far so good. WP directories, we saw that was a problem. We see that it's being crawled. Sometimes you can actually see the directories like WP contents, WP includes are 2 of the 3 directories. WP admin is another one. We don't care to have Google see these and spend time here. Just disallow them. Account pages, it's just like the author page. When you have WordPress websites with 100 users, hundreds and thousands of users, sometimes they have their own page, right? If it's a small business though, they might have made user accounts for their designer, for their blog post guy, for their SEO, for their secretary, and their other secretary. By default, they don't disallow those pages. Google and users don't care about reading a default, this is the user page on a business's website. Like Google doesn't want to read this is the user's name, this is the last time they logged in. They don't care. Like that doesn't provide any value to a user. Right now, there's no problem on this site. Media attachments. Let me check. Usually I just type in JPEG or I type in PNG. I don't know if it's in URL. Let me. Usually I try and crawl, or I try and check if Google crawls. They don't care they can't really read the picture itself. If they're indexing it in here, it doesn't really help your case. Sometimes pictures get indexed, doesn't really help. Sometimes they index like MP4s and MP3s, doesn't really help. Put that on your site, add the alt texts and everything, but doesn't necessarily help. Category pages, same thing as this. So I put down blog. This should probably be replaced. Instead of category, it should say external cleaning. So if there's a blog post for external cleaning, it'd be something like 17 roof soft washing tips. Whatever. They won't actually say that, but this is the category. This page indexed. Let me check. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. I'm probably butchering the search. You can Google this, but you just want to check if this page is being indexed. If there's not a lot of content, don't waste Google's time and say this page is important for Google to see. It literally is a repeat of stuff. It has like 30, 40 words. So check that. I'm just going to say double check later. Right. So thin content and no value pages. And again, once I get to the bottom, I'll answer questions on Zoho and Discord. Google obviously cares about two things. Every SEO knows they care about links and they care about what's on the site. A long time ago, you could make one page and you could basically rank. Like you could have a sentence on a page and it'd rank. And if you make 100,000 pages, all those pages would rank for something if it was even like a sentence. Now you have to add content because there's more competition and more context has to be explained, right? Panda and penguin. So we want to check if there's any thin content. If you're working on a big website, you can use Screaming Frog Crawl. So I'm going to export all the HTML pages and save it. I'm going to save it for ACE. We want to check. So if you're working on a big website, sometimes they have pages that are in draft or like, should have never been published. And it might have like one or two like pages or one or two like paragraphs, and it might not be so useful. So I'm going to add this and I'm going to check it. What was it called? Totally forgot what it was called. Internal? Internal all ACE. Let me try again. Let's save it to the desktop. Internal HTML. There we go. That's right. There we go. So I'm just going to create a new sheet. And this is really, really helpful. I do have a different part of my template that if I copy and paste it in, these things change the status. So it'll highlight. So this 301s, this shows that it's a 404, so we need to highlight. So I'll go through and look at word count. So here's the word count. I'm going to freeze the first column. And then I'm going to look at the word count again. So I can see, okay, this page has no words. This page also has 57 words, but the rest of these pages have a good amount of text on it. Looks like there is an about page. Looks like there are these other pages. Concrete cleaning, roof wash, patio cleaning service. Okay, so these pages do exist. But if I take a look at some of these pages here, like this, thank you, that page, does that page exist? Anxiety webinar, okay, no. These pages do exist, but it's wasting Google's time. They can't understand what this page is about. So if we look at this, that's that 404 page. Here's that blog that I was talking about, like the dates. We don't care for that. We don't want to waste Google's time. Something here, here's like 45 words, sitemap, that's okay. Blog, that's a blog, that's okay. Sometimes I see blogs that have more context and more info. Oh, so here's that author page that I was talking about. Author, is this indexed? No, okay, that's fine. Check for pages. Sometimes you see blog posts that have like less than 100 words. Big no-no, you don't want that. You don't want that happening. So far, it's not a big deal except for some of the other pages. Yeah, let me see. Let me check here. There we go. They do exist. More replace text or remove the page. And also meta keywords. I know there's no meta keywords. Meta keywords used to be a thing back then. You could paste in. It's not meta description, but it's meta keywords. You want all of them to be missing. It doesn't matter. Just sometimes I see sites where they add their meta keywords in the header, like if I inspect element, sometimes they add keywords in the head. It's depreciated, meaning like Google doesn't care. Like they say, dude, we stopped. We don't look at it. We don't touch it. So far so good. It's not the same as meta titles and meta descriptions. It's just meta keywords. It's not useful. It's fine. All right, I'm going to go set up Google Search Console and Google Analytics, which is huge. If you've never set this up, this is what brings you into the profession. I'm going to answer some questions. Oh, cool, we got more people. Cool. Great. Robots.txt better than no index meta. I mean, I'm a fan of just keeping it simple with, let me just type that. I'm a fan of just keeping it simple with robots.txt. I mean, most people know how to edit it. Most of the plugins you use, go with it. And it's easier to like audit a site because every website has a robots text. So I'm basically going to answer and send this to everyone after. What would you suggest for URL structure and page content where the services are similar with only a parameter or two that differ? Oh, good question. So let's say, we do roof slash, let's say it's roofing, and then we do roof, maybe it's shingle repair, right? That's probably going to be kind of similar to roofing slash roofing repair. What I do is I still kind of keep that because people are typing in roofing repair. People are still typing in shingle repair. If it's something where, I've messed around on my site, it was something like I had affordable SEO services for small business. And then I also had a page for affordable services for small business, affordable SEO service for small business. This is something that if you work on one of these, you need to get both. If you're doing it right, you're going to get both. If you're ranking for one keyword and your strategy is to make one ranking for one keyword, you're going to have a bad time. But what I learned is like this page, this keyword gets like 600 searches and this keyword gets like 300 searches. But if you really, really want to achieve it, it's a matter of time spent. You could write 2,000 words on this and it'll rank. You can write 2,000 words on this and it'll rank. But just have this on the page. I'm not going to talk about H1, H2s and how to do that right now. But it's just time in, time out. You should fit this in. You should have like an H1 that has, you should fit that in. If this is the Camille one, fit that in, right? If that's helpful. Ask me if you have any questions after the broadcast. I find myself caught with on-page content a lot where the customer has the domain info, but they don't have the writing skills. Oh God, this hurts me. Every client that I've ever had, they say when I'm selling them, I tell them, hey, dude, you're a chiropractor. I need like 10,000, I need 20,000 words. Can you do it? Yeah, if it makes the cost go down. Yeah, I need that. So if I say you are a St. Paul chiropractor, you can write 1,000 words. Yeah, it'll take them a month. Just go around it, include that in your contract saying, hey, you can reduce the price if you keep up with me. I need content written, and if you can't do it, you'll lose money because you're going to be paying for me to not optimize your stuff. But here's the flip side. They really don't know how to write because they're not writers. You're a chiropractor, they're a roofer, they're a massage therapist. They don't know. Otherwise, they'd be doing it. If they blog, if they're a blogger, they will do it. They will be more than happy. You just take their content, give them keywords, tell them how to structure it. You should be charging like $100 to $200 per 1,000 words of SEO optimized stuff, and hiring writers for no more than $30 per 1,000 words. Just find them on Craigslist. Like, there's tons of subreddits where people are able to write. Like, I know writers that just write. They just write 10,000 words a day. They love it. Tell them to write on their own. Hire a writer to do it. It's like 0.2 cents a word, and it's good, right? All this is very helpful for an audit. When a client hires you, what do you do on a day-to-day basis after you finish the checklist? How do you retain a client for years? Oh, good question. How much time do you allocate per client per week to juggle multiple clients at one time? All this is helpful. What I do on a day-to-day basis, let's say, that's a long question. That's a really good question. Well, shucks. I talk to a lot of clients. So right now during COVID, I'm really just talking to people, telling them how they could write content. So I'm educating, much like I'm doing now, I'm educating. But on the day-to-day, I do two things. So day-to-day SEO, I do something called benchmarking, which I will be able to glance, but it's like the next step. So all these are the foundational problems, and this step is the one that makes the fucking money. It's the one that, like, you look at each page and you see that a page gets like 10,000 impressions and no clicks. Like, obviously you want to fix that page. So I do that. The audit and implementation, it takes around like 10 hours. Mostly it's around like 5 hours, but sometimes it's 10. Because I go through it, I educate, I talk, but I do a lot of sales. I spend 4 hours a day just making calls, doing emails, talking, networking, doing demos, doing project management, which is just making sure my web designers are doing the work. And if you need any help with this, I've already taken like 30 videos on these. I could probably just put them in the Google Drive and send it to you. Just talk to me after. Thanks for asking my questions. How can we follow you? Good question. Let's just, keep my ego down. Let's just stick to Discord, and I'll just keep doing these. All right, cool. Let me check Discord if there's any questions. Thank you for this. Cool. All right, so if you sign on a client, you need to know exactly what you're getting yourself into. So when you're talking with a client, they mostly do like one or two things before they meet you. They're struggling, or they've already spent money on SEO and they know what they're doing, so they have this. They're struggling because they don't have data, and if they know what they're doing, it's because they have data. Google Analytics is a must. Ask them to share analytics with you before the audit. Ask them to share Google Search Console with you before the audit. Ask them to share the Google My Business before the audit. And if they object, to say, you can share read-only access. It could be temporary. I can't change anything. I'll just point out that things aren't set up. You can say, hey, I will opt. If you literally have no clients, this is the #1 best way to get clients. Say, hey, I'll optimize your Google My Business, my analytics, and my Google Search Console for free. Like, I'll give you like a month of free service, but I'll audit for you. Then you can pay me. If I get to the top of Google, or if I get on the first page of Google, you pay me $1,000. But I want to help you. You do enough of that, you're going to get referrals. You're going to get people liking you. But go to the Google Analytics, and I'm going to show you how you can set that up, but just go there. So I have 2 accounts. Please don't bully. So this is, oh good, it didn't show me my other client sites. If you click here, you'll be able to see all my clients. I don't want you to see that. So it shows you the users, how many people use the site, the bounce rate, how long people typically stay on the website. That's weird. But the most important thing is I want to check if the right URL is set up and if goal tracking is set up. That's really it. So I see that the domain up here is put in the name. That's just the name. So if I click admin, in these settings somewhere, you'd be able to see the right URL. I have corrected so many websites where they have said, oh, we set up analytics, but it doesn't show. It's because they set it up for this. Remember, it's a different website. This is different than this. That's also different than this. You will get the wrong data. It will show you that you have 0 clicks because you can't get to this. It redirects. It's going to say, hey, we have no visitors. Yeah, you do. You're just tracking the wrong data. So make sure that's set up. So I'm not going to save there. So far, this is set up. Let's check goals. So even if you're in e-commerce or you help a small business or you are a small business, you just want to know if this is making you money. So head over to goals, click overview, and it'll tell you you don't even have it set up. You can target URLs. So if they hit a URL, it will tell you if there's a result. To set that up, you just go to goals. You go to settings and go to goals and do new goal, template, few more. No, I don't need a template. I just want someone to, I'm just going to do custom name. Thank you for contacting us. It's a destination. I'm going to click continue. Equals to. Thank you for contacting us. Value. A lead is worth $50. Funnel. I don't care for that right now. Save. And if the website has traffic, you can click that. Right now, there's a goal. If there's a page with this and someone hits it, it will produce a result. I have to make the page first. So I'm going to say it's set up, but make a page for this. If that makes sense, that's money. So if someone fills out a webinar, that's worth maybe $100. If someone makes a purchase, just track that. It's also useful. You can retarget people in AdWords to everyone that hits this. So not only did they sign up or they paid or they called the business, you can retarget them. And the cost to retarget someone is like a tenth of the cost. So instead of $4 per click, you're paying like 20 cents or 40 cents to get someone to come back and say, oh yeah, that's right, I signed up. Yeah, let me contact you guys again. So that's set up. Super useful. If you've never set it up, you need to. To do that, just head over, go in. If you've never seen this, it's fine. Just click create account. Just do something. So I think I have this set up for one of my sites, but I'm just going to do something. Test site, please ignore. I'm just going to do whatever. Next. It's just for a website. Next. Make sure, this is just a name. Put in the URL. Maybe I'm going to put in. This is what I do. I just do this. Make sure it's the right one. Industry category, business. Create. It'll ask you to read this, and then it'll ask you to copy and paste the tracking code. The tracking code is really important. Without it, you can't really set it up. So this is just an easy way. I just copy this. I go to the site. I'm not going to log into inbound. I go to the site. There's a plugin that I use just called Insert Headers and Footers. It's called Insert Headers and Footers. And I already have mine in here. Please no bully, no hack me. And I just copy and paste. That's it. And I click save. That's it. Now you're tracking. Google Search Console is set up kind of like the same way. It keeps track of data. What is this site? Oh God. So this is an adult website that I'm working on. So it tells you the performance. So this site's from a long time ago when we started working on it. It's an adult website. It's porn. Don't go to it. I know you guys are going to go to it. I can go to any of these other ones. Maybe get Stencil. So this guy is like a big company. It's kind of like Canva, for graphic designers. Big site, right? You can literally see the clicks and impressions. Now this is just basic info, but you just want to see if the right URL is set up, if the sitemap is set up. You can click on the sitemap to see if the sitemap's set up. If there's any sitemap errors, it's fine. All gravy. And sometimes you can see if there's any penalties, right? Security and manual actions. If I go to ACE, you'll see that ACE has some issues because I did some black hat stuff and it was pretty cool. I got rankings and then I lost it. So it's the same thing with Google Search Console. When you sign up, you get a link just like this that you use to verify. If I go to the insert headers and footers, it'd be in there. Sometimes you can just verify in a different way, but that's just how we do it. Right now, I know that I have this set up. I know I have all these things set up, and I know that I have sitemap errors and manual penalties. I'm not going to talk about the penalties. I have penalties. Actually, no, let's actually go to it. Let's see. So manual penalties is because like I did some stuff and people weren't happy. So let's see. Verify domain. Oh, maybe I never even set it up. All right, cool. I'll copy the text record. I don't want to do that. I gotta, do I have to do this? I don't want to do this. No, I don't want to. Can I just, usually it's just like a thing. What's going on? Domain property. Oh no. So this is telling me that I have to go into the host and put this in. Can I try a different way to verify it? Oh my God. I don't want to. Oh my God. So this sucks. Usually it's copy and pastable, but I have to verify this, which I will have to figure out because I have to log in and copy and paste this in. Oh my God, that sucks. It already has data collected, I'm sure. I know for a fact it's in there. Let me, yeah, okay. Fun stuff. So I'm just going to answer some questions here, then move on to schema markup, which is a big secret weapon, and OG data, which is open graph data. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll talk about Google My Business down below. And that's money. That's where people are coming in from. Cool. How do you deal with discrepancies between Google Analytics conversions and internal data? We find that we're usually off around 10 to 20%, but the URLs are set up correctly as far as I know. I'm dealing with small businesses and medium-sized businesses where they get like, maybe 5 calls a day most. The Google Analytics conversions happens because sometimes people, I've seen like 105% conversion rate on some things. And I've seen, in those cases, people come back because they fill out the same form multiple times, or they click the link that you're tracking like a second time, right? But my answer to that is like analytics is very murky. Analytics is never going to be perfect. It's hard to get the right data. Getting the big picture, that's useful. But if you're dealing with a company, huge, SaaS company, it's not going to be perfect. The more traffic you get, the more inaccuracies you're going to get. But yeah, no, I've seen 10 to 20%. But for most companies, it's just, these things just aren't set up. Domain properties must be, use URL property, which is the classic meta tag. Yeah, I'm trying to do that. I don't know why it's not. Is it like in the setting? He's push wash. Wait. Oh no, it is set up. I just had the wrong one. Manual actions. Pure spam. Oh no. So I was doing cloaking, gibberish, scraping content from other websites, and or repeated egregious violations of webmaster guidelines. Affects all pages. If I fix this, the site will start ranking. I have to combat this. This sucks. If you guys really want to know, I just kept the lorem ipsum pages going. So if I go to this and I go to this, it's just a template. If you're a web designer, you want to use the robots text to disallow all the pages before you publish the website. Like, this is a very common problem. I was making these pages and I didn't replace the text. Anyway,
Do you ever use Google Tag Manager or stick with Google Analytics? I'm lazy, I should.
Google Tag Manager lets you manage everything, and it actually loads the analytics in Google Search Console faster. I get billed per hour, and it's easier to set up Google Tag Manager. I don't know. I just don't do it. You probably should. How do you feel about the fact that your really niche porn-like leaking has awakened some? Okay. So I had someone reach out to me that like writes stuff. So it's erotica, and he just writes the stuff, and he asked me to like publish his stuff. So none of that stuff. Okay, going on. And insert header for this only add the analytics code or meta tags too.
No, it's site-wide. It's just an easy plugin to install site-wide
scripts. Meta titles and descriptions are page by page. There's plugins for that. We'll discuss. People use Yoast and stuff, so when building a new multi-page site from the ground up, is it better to launch with all content written or slowly add new pages over time? That's a good question. A lot of other SEOs, they want to just publish everything so that way they can interlink it. But if you're building a brand, you want to do something consistent. So if if I recorded this broadcast and I recorded it like 500 times, and I did it 500 times, and I published it all in one go, like that's not as good.
The site will be refreshed. Google cares about the freshness of a page. It's a balancing act. Let's say you have 30 pages, just upload it. If you have like a content calendar where we're going to be uploading like 120 pages and it's already pre-written, just publish it. But if you have a plan, stick to that. Like maybe publish something like once a week and just stick to it. The reason for it is Google likes obviously the freshness, but then you get shares, you get people, you get fans, you get followers, and they get your stuff and they share it, and you look at it and they read it and they come back. If you publish YouTube videos, you'll have a fan base if you do all this. But if you have the stuff written, just publish it. It makes it easy to interlink, which is a big deal. And plan, silo, structure out, and just publish. Google indexes these pages, and you can always come back and edit. When you come back and edit later, it'll help. How do you deal with websites that have thousands of leaf pages that want to rank the category pages? I want real estate, even though we have a bit of traffic, and I have a hard time getting Google to rank category pages. Individual listings rank very high for both individual listings and brokers. However, category pages seem to barely rank. Schema and URL structure set up very well. Very technical. Oh, I like it. So with people that have ever worked, for people that have never worked with a real estate agent, they usually sync up. It's probably the case with you. They use the, what's the thing? It's like the database of all the homes, the CLS? I forgot. It's like the database of homes. Other websites use that same database. So if you have 100 pages where all the text is non-unique, it's not going to help. If you have, and it's time consuming to go in and edit unique stuff, because like everyone else is using, MLS. Yep, it's MLS. So if you have a ton of pages where everything's non-unique, your competitors are using it too. So what I found, I have a broker friend that he just does real estate SEO and PPC. I can introduce you to, and you guys could talk because he'd be able to help out. But as far as I know, the MLS, everyone's using the same home, the same stuff. Zillow's using it. Everyone's using it. I'm a fan of keeping it unique. You can use Copyscape to kind of show how unique a page is. if you put that into one of your leaf pages, it will kind of show you why in a way. I don't know if that's helpful, but if you get someone to maybe write, like, I'm a fan of content, I'm a fan of just useful info, but I can introduce you to the other guy. Can you please share this doc? Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'm just going to answer a few. If anyone else has questions, I'm going to talk about schema. Can you share your doc? What's the best way to deal with internal traffic exclusion from your analytics? Internal traffic exclusion. There's a tag that you set up. There's a tag you set up. It's a thing. It's a thing to basically block your own IP. I haven't set it up. Yeah, there's a thing that you can do. I have an SOP for it. That it really takes 5 minutes to do, but I don't really. It doesn't really matter for me as much. I just like to drive phone calls. Yep, MLS. Thank you. We're competitive MLS in the commercial space. Sure, send us info. All right, cool. All right, moving on. How's attrition? Oh, we still got 37 people. Cool. So what schema is, schema can be tested using the schema testing tool. Structured data testing tool. And what this does is it tells Google, well, it tells you that it's set up, but also Google can read the code on the website. Google can go in and like literally read code off the website. You could go in and see this. This isn't, it's structured, but it's not structured. Let me do Amazon. Actually, let me do Amazon. If I look up Amazon, this isn't their GMB, it's just context. This is their organization schema being spoon-fed to Google. They put in that's their name, that's their logo, that's their link, that's their category. Here's their site again. Here's their description. Here's a link. Here's their sales. Here's their this number, stock, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Schema is set up for all sorts of different things. There's a schema for an attorney. There's a schema for roofing companies. There's schemas for everything. Let me show you what I mean. Let's say you're working on a local business. If I click on this, it'll show you the schema for a local business. It'll say, okay, you can give it settings. You can say, okay, when Google reads this section for opening hours, you can put in these settings, that it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the times, and it's code. Google can read this, parse it, process it, and then place it. It is really useful. I've done split tests with SEO techniques, and this is working. This is my secret for you guys. Use this. Use it in the right way. You will do well. So there's certain things that I want to use and certain things that we don't need for a site like this. So let me open this up. So what is ACE, pressure washing? Is it an organization? And it's not really a national company. It's a local business. So I'm just going to skip this. Is it a local business? Yeah. So what I do is I check the home page. I'm going to take this, paste it in here, and see if there's any schemas that are set up. So right now, this tool is going in, and it's fucking up. Usually, it should spit out. Oh my gosh. It tells me what schemas are set up. You could try it on your own. But it tells me what schemas are set up or if there's any errors. Usually, you have to set this up. There's only like 2 or 3 schemas that are set up by default, and it's just like, this is a website. Okay. This page has, oh, okay. This this is a thing that has content. Okay, cool. This is a web page and it's content. Here's the URL of this page. Here's the language, right? If you're trying to get, if you're dealing international, here's the date. Here's what it's about, right? Okay, we're a local business. Let's set up a local business schema. Right now, I usually place this on the home page, and if they have, here's the money. If they have a page like, this is Minnesota cleaning, company. Then they have a page for St. Paul. Add a new local business markup to this page for St. Paul. So you basically say, here's their GMB for that location. For every GMB and for every page they have on their site, you can sync them and put them together, right? If I go to these pages, when I audit, I literally go in and say, okay, well, is this set up? Does Google know your actual contact info? Can they read it? No. It's like you're spoon feeding Google exactly what the website is about, what the page is about. It's not set up. Don't even have an about markup. Don't even have this. Do they have a blog? Yeah, they do. I'm going to save you time. They don't have this set up. If they have breadcrumbs, sometimes you want to have that marked up. It's easy. A lot of this stuff is like done for you already. If they're a big website and they publish articles, not a deal with them. Event markup, not a big deal with them. So it's like if you're hosting an event, like a networking event, there's a schema for that. There's hundreds of schemas. This is not limited, but I'm just keeping it here. Open house. So if you're in real estate, there's an open house markup that you can do. It's not relevant here. And there's no schema errors that I saw on like the 2 pages on the site. It's not a problem. These things, when you edit them, there's a plugin. Let's see if I can find the plugin. Like the plugin's like in here. It's called Markup JSON LD. It basically lets you insert the code and structures it and then puts it on the page. So I don't think I even have the plugin installed, right? I don't even have the plugin installed. This is like all these plugins are free, right? Except for this one, which is OG data. Open graph data is what happens when people share your page on a website. So if I go to, let's say you guys become my Facebook friends and you guys want to post me the site that you're working on, right? The thing that pops up here is the open graph data. And the picture that pops up is not the same. Okay, maybe I'm not getting anything. Is it loading? The picture here is not the same as if you're posting it and sharing it on Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever. Usually a picture pops up like a thumbnail, right? So let me try this. Okay, so this is a thumbnail. Sometimes a picture literally pops up, and sometimes that picture looks really, really off. Last time I took a look at this, it's easy to check for that. If they've never had anything to kind of prepare and prevent that, they're going to have these open graph data like mishaps. So if they have a picture and the picture is like on the side, like if it's a picture of them, their head's like broken and the text runs off, no one's going to want to click the link. It makes them look like very lackluster. There's a plugin for that called, it's a paid one called WP SSO. So when you're charging $1,000 or $2,000 to do this audit, this is like $30. It's fine. I'm just going to talk about the plugins that I use, then I'll stop for questions and then work on the GMB. There's a nice tool that I use to sell clients on GMBs, and it's been working really well to kind of explain what we're doing. Plugins I like Rank Math because they reached out to me, and Yoast has been basic. We were using Yoast. Rank Math handles some of these things too. There's other plugins that cover all these things. To keep the website running fast, don't install a ton of plugins. If you can, take the time to, do the work and then replace the plugin. Like I have one on this site for virtual robots. Like what is that? I could just edit the robots and we won't need to load this plugin ever. But there's a plugin, Rake Math. It's just like, it's basically Yoast. You don't have to pay for Yoast. It doesn't really do much. It makes you set like multiple focus keywords. It doesn't matter. Smusher and other image compression plugins let you save a lot of time by condensing a page. Photographers and roofers and anyone that has a high quality photo is subject to this. You can use a tool like GT Metrics to test this, to test how fast a website runs, and it will tell you how fast the website runs, and it'll tell you you guys have way too many big pictures on the site. We only see like this, but sometimes a picture is really like high quality and it's got like megabytes worth of information. Don't make people download that. Don't make people go through, oh no, we're this far. Don't make people go through and do that. Smush makes that easy. Broken link checker checks for broken links. Obviously, no one have broken links. Add script header footer, we have that, you saw that. 410 for WordPress. It basically lets you remove pages off of, just say, hey, 410 basically says remove, take off the database, updraft. Plus, I've dealt with clients that they find out how to log into their website and they click and they delete stuff, and then they have me look at their site. It's like, hey, I deleted the homepage. Can you help? I'm like, no, it should be in trash. Oh, I deleted the trash because it's trash. What? If you add a backup plugin, you won't have to deal with that headache. Especially if you hire someone and they fuck up, you back it up. Press a button. Redirection it's like if you have a page. If you have a page, you just redirect it. Like it just makes sense. You can do 301s and 302s. Simple sitemap sets up a simple sitemap. WP Fast Cache. I like. We use those for a while. Another alternative is WP Rocket. It's a premium one. We've seen web pages go down from 4-second load times to like less than a second if you know how to use it. Markup. Markup is the schema thing I was talking about. You basically fill out like data entry and it's fine. I basically, when I audit a site and I have access, I just say, hey, we can do all this. And when I explain this and I'm going down and I say blah, 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 then I get here, I say, well, to make all this easier, do you have this? No. Do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? No, 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 no. All I gotta do is install it. They're free. Most of these plugins only cost like $100 total, and it's fine. It'll save me like 10 hours. I'm just gonna pay on your behalf so I can do this job. And they're like, oh, okay. So there's more plugins. These are just the ones I like to use on most projects. There's other ones. The one that I'm using right now there's a chat bot that I'm using. Fantastic. I offer it for free, and it's a plugin that I use. It basically just pops up on the site and it says, hey, let me ask you any questions. That's been useful. And there's another secret weapon that I use. Just anything that schedules content, like a content calendar. You can post on a client's Facebook and on their GMB and on their blog, and all I gotta do is click save and schedule the post. Those are good too. Okay, I'm gonna answer some questions. Then I'm gonna talk about GMBs, citations, page speed, and web design. What about schema? Oh, we are, yep. What about schema for a website being hosted from one country, targeting another, based out of France, while targeting the French population in Canada? Great. We'll talk about that in the GMB and citations and creating local context with a geogrid. What is your recommendations for, I know this looks like a cop-out, but we're going to talk about it in the next section. Google just does not know that you're in Canada, right? If you talk about how you're in Canada, you're going to get better results, but there's citations and things you can do to basically say, yeah, you have an office in Canada. What we did this for a client that had an office in India, and they do software, and they want to get more American clients, and now they're doing well. What is your recommendation for avoiding dupe content with local services for? Oh, it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter. Let's say I look up Bloomington Plumbing Company. Anyone can replace this with whatever. Now, a plumbing company can install a water heater in all the cities. They'll make $1,000. They'll drive. Bloomington Plumbing Company is one site that pops up. It's Facebook. Facebook is not a plumbing company. It's just going to a category, but it is optimized for the term. It says it in the URL. Next, Angie's List. They're not a plumbing company. Aqua City Plumbing. It says Bloomington Plumber. People read left to right. It also says Plumbing Company, Bloomington MN. Cool, it just says the same thing again, Bloomington Plumber, Plumbing Company, Bloomington. Not really valuable, and it goes and trails off, ... meaning this is a page that they can improve. This is a page that can obviously and quickly become rank number 1. Same with this one, Richfield. Even though it says Bloomington, Richfield is a city here. Only one page here is optimized for Bloomington Plumbing Company, and if I click on this, it's not even for the Bloomington that's nearby. It's over in Indiana, meaning plumbing companies have a lot that they can do to rank. Like there's room to improve. Plus reviews here suck. Like they can do better. There's context that you can put to say that you're in an area. You can add, like basically if someone's like a mile away, they should find you. If you're miles over, like many cities over, you can rank that. I'll show you how in a bit here once I get to the GMB part. What is your recommendation? Yep. Duplicate penalties for content do not exist. It doesn't. You won't rank, but it's not a penalty. And you can just replace the text. So if you get rankings, you work on the pages, which I'll explain in benchmarking. Here, I'll just build the pages first and then improve them later. We'll see that you'll get top, probably like front page rankings. Like small businesses, most small businesses don't invest in SEO. They buy a website and then they buy like a $500 a month SEO package where it's really just like a $20 per month service that someone's upselling. It is terrible. If you are an agency and you're doing this, I know what you're doing. There is a cool Chrome extension, structured data testing that uses the test schema. Oh, cool. Thanks, Nathan. Can you negatively affect structured data results by overusing them, e.g. putting local business schema on every page? Test it out for yourself. I only do it once for a few schemas, like 5. So if there's like one for a location, like one per GMB profile they have. So if they have like multiple GMBs, I'll just do one local business schema. Useful if the client's paying for it. $2 a month to save 0.2 is useful. It's proven to help Google Cares. Do we have a quick comeback on schema.org? I didn't get what situation was useful in all situations. I want to move through, PM me, and I can just coach you directly and help you out and explain that. Can we get a copy of this amazing video? I'm sorry, but I had to move away from my computer. Yep. If you gave me your email, yes. You'll get a copy of the audits and such and video. I'm gonna do more of these. Like I've been doing these for a long time. I just never really got these out. All right, cool. Let's soldier on. I was gonna do like a few other heavier client sites, but my other SEO guy, he's like, dude, don't publish clients, because then we've had people in the past basically just go through and like mess things up for everyone. Like they just go on and then they message the client or they do stuff like, don't do that, don't bully, no bully. So if you're a local business, Google My Business is fantastic. Obviously, 75% of the searches, if I'm typing in like water heater install Woodbury, 75% of the results come here. The 10% maybe glance over here, they see 5 stars, cool, but they see 5 stars here and they click here instead. 75% of the results come here. And then the rest for a local business tend out here. The money that Ahrefs tracks, if you use Ahrefs, tracks this. It does not track this. So when you tell clients they have no clicks on their website and they have no traffic value, they get pissed because they do. And I learned that the hard way. It took me like a year to realize that. This is money. If they have like less than 3 stars, 4 stars, maybe skip them if you're prospecting for clients. But if they have 4.9 stars, you know, you can literally call people here. Like if you need help, I can just help. Call these companies, call this company, Reliable Maintenance and Repair LLC. They have a website, no reviews. They're not ranking. Call them, ask them if you can help them because you saw AJ Albert's Plumbing is outranking them and you can explain why. Right? I do that like 100 times a day and I will do that live. I've already done it a few times live. Like today, basically, I do a lot of these lives. Anyway, Google My Business is that. We want to make sure that is optimized. And if you're a local business, that makes the money. If you're a national business, the benchmarking step here is money, right? And we'll talk about that, I promise. But we're going to talk about local first. Get access from your client or set it up. And right now, reviews aren't working. You got to ask them for a postcard. That's how you set it up. And if you want to make a new one, you just make a new one, and then it'll literally send an envelope. If you're like in Hawaii or in a not as accessible state where the postage will cost like more than $1, you're just going to get access right away. Like when I was in Honolulu, I just made one, right? I just made one and it ranked because there's not a lot of people and Google doesn't care about Hawaii as much for the GMBs to verify. So these are just random clients. I'm just going to pop into one that I'm looking at. Please no bully. So this is pending verification. But when you go in, you'll see this. Let me just move this. When you log in, you'll see something like this, right? You'll see that you have posts, you have info you can edit, insights you get, reviews, your COVID-19 status for now. You want to optimize this. This is its own other entity. I charge people like $1,000 or $2,000 a month just to touch this. I don't even touch their website. I will say, yo, I'm just going to touch this and make sure you get ranks. It is very easy to sell Google My Business rankings than just traditional SEO. I don't even lump it together. I just say, yeah, dude, let me work on your Google My Business. It's like, is that SEO? You get calls. You're in the maps. Oh, okay. That's how the conversation goes. Oh my God, no, you didn't. I don't have a code. So basically you get a code. I gotta tell these guys to fucking get it to me. So you wanna optimize this 100%, and this is just a number. Optimize this number to 100%, max out everything you do, and post once a week, like 1,000 words, and you will get rankings. As long as it's unique and you've never copy and pasted anything, don't link to this, you will be fine. Like I'm not saying don't link to it. There are ways you can link to it to like boost it. But as a basic starting point, just start here, bring this up. Make sure the right hours are set up. Make sure you add and fill out the description, right? It says 750 words. Max that out. Add, like kind of subtly adding keywords, like pressure washing, I'm just gonna say Minneapolis pressure washing company that does exterior cleaning services in Minnesota. Whatever, right? You just flesh that out. It's easy. Most people, they get the envelope and the company, like the agency, spams business citations, and that's it. They don't even touch this. It's so sad. They charge $500 a month. They build citations. There's tools that basically do this for you for free or like cheap, and then when the client stops paying, you pull it. They don't care to actually help businesses. If you educate clients, or if you have your own website or your own business, take care of this, you'll do well. So the added services and stuff, yada, yada, I just check for this. I go in and I check for it. You don't need to have access for it. I could type in the name of the business and you'd be able to see it. I'm not trying to show you all the client sites, but this is how you can do it. Check. Do they have a physical address? Do they have a service location? Do they have the right hours? Etc., etc., etc. Are they responding to reviews? You can't right now, but you want to. Something, if they have a ton of reviews, they could say something like, hey, thanks, Bob. That's it. Easy. Thanks, Bob. Sometimes I see people add keywords up here. The name of the business is literally Ace Pressure Washing. I bought an expired domain to basically rank, right? They do pressure cleaning, but I just bought pressure washing because it was an expired domain because some company out in Ohio forgot to pay their $10 a month .net domain on GoDaddy or whatever. I bought it. I bought it off of them. If you look up Ace Pressure Washing, you can double check. I don't have to start from the sandbox. I don't have to start from scratch. I'm starting from a website that someone had before. There's backlinks to it already. Anyway, sorry. Multiple categories, it's fine. Responding to keyword stuff, title tag, no. Sometimes you see Ace pressure washing, Windows pressure washing, concrete cleaning, and it's like, no, you're trying to keyword stuff. Like that's bad. Google doesn't like that. They've said that. Or are they using posts? Treat posts like a Twitter account, or treat it like a blog, like a personal blog. If a company does work, ask them to send you a few photos, and if you're being a really good client, like write a blog post like this in the posts, add offer, add an event, create a post, and it's easy. You just add a photo and add stuff. Don't do like a sentence, but post a picture and then just rant, just talk about it. Include a few keywords in it and you'll be fine. You'll do really well because most competitors aren't doing that. They're just not doing that. They're not even touching it. And Google says we care about it. So they're not using it. Answering questions. There's a tab in here for questions. I know that they're not answering questions, but if they are, there's no questions. Using promos, it's like an offer. It's like a post. The reason why this is really important, because if I look up pressure washing, in Woodbury, where I'm at, I can look at their other GMBs. Sometimes you see that people also search for competitors. They also look up these guys. If you post, you basically refresh here for the business, right? So these guys aren't responding to reviews. They leave a review. A thumbs up isn't a review, isn't a response. But you want to continuously post content. Like I say, if you can aim for once a week, good. Try and do 2 times a week, maybe 750 words, maybe. Try and do that. They're not service photos, inside location photos, outside location photos, team photos. You want those. Do they have it? Let me check. Photos. They don't. There's a secret I'm going to share with you. Google cares about this. I'm going to prove it to you. If you look, you can see there's different categories. There's a video, but there's at work. So if I'm a roofing guy or a pressure washing guy, and you show people of the team doing the service, Google says they care about it. People of the photos of the team, pictures of people waving, saying, hi, I'm the secretary. It builds so much trust. Google obviously says they care. They have a page for it. Identity. Oh, this is just cover photo and logo, but I think there's one for interior and there's one for exterior for like location. Google My Business takes pictures of the area. It looks at the area from Google Street View, and it also wants you to show off that you're a trustworthy business. If I look up my business, please no bully. Well, let me just do this, sorry. If I do this, right, I'm ranking at the top, right? If I click on this, right, you'll be able to see photos, and I've inserted stuff in here, right? I took pictures of clients that I worked on. I put videos and screenshots of stuff. I did a bunch of stuff here, and I just kind of inserted this in here. There's another Google My Business location that I have. I'm just gonna go directly to it. I took a picture of the outside, cropped it, and I made the photo say Web Strategy Viking Minneapolis office or something, .jpg, right? If that was the name of this file. I did that with like several photos of the exterior, right? This is I worked out a home basically, right? Let me actually click. So I put together these photos. There's people I was working with, me with some dogs. And I just kind of uploaded stuff. There should be a lot more in here, but Google cares about Google My Businesses that have this info. I have a minimum of 3. You really, really want to cap out at 25. If you can get 25 pictures, most companies, they will let you take photos of their office. They will let you take photos of their outside office. Take photos off of your phone. They will let you, if you are really good and you want to provide value, if you charge $1 or $2 grand a month, pay for a photographer for an hour or 2 to just take photos of everyone. Just tell them to shadow everyone. Just take photos. Maybe you're with a chiropractor and they're taking pictures of patients, services, they're working. Make sure you just get those photos. The site doesn't have it. You never really touch their GMB, but that's that. You really want to, really want to flesh that out. Really want to touch on this. There's an auditing tool that you can basically use as a sales thing. I'm just going to talk about technical stuff. I'm not going to talk about sales, but there's a way to basically show people where they show up, like a mile away, 2 miles away, 3 miles away, and it's just cash money. I'll talk about that another day because that basically mints money. Citations. I'm going to just talk about citations and then I'm going to answer questions. There are a few tools that you can use to check for citations. Moz Local is one. I literally do this in front of a client. I don't care. No shame. I do have Moz Pro. I'm not going to log in. But let's say I'm going to look up my site. What was the address? Oh my God, I don't even remember the address. Well, I keyword stuff this, but it works, but you shouldn't. Okay, again, no bully. So a citation is basically a mention. There's a name, address, and phone number. There's a name, address, and phone number for a business, and it needs to be consistent. If I am basically saying my name is this, but then I have a different address and a different address on a different website, Google is going to be confused. So far, it says I have one incorrect one, but it just says the website's missing. There's websites where sometimes people just build out citations. They literally go to like Yelp.com. They make a free entry in here. They log in, they make an account, they build a citation, and they do that. Then they go to another one. And then they blah, blah, blah. They make something on yellowpages.com. right? So on and so forth. They make a page because you know how they have like their pages at home. What is, you know how they have like a page here? Basically, the more of those that talk about the name, address, phone number, the better. I might have a blog post that explains it. I was ranking for this and then I stopped caring because it was pretty technical and I didn't like it. I have a blog post that kind of explains this. It's called a name, address, phone number. Probably don't see it here. Okay, I'm just going to skip it. There's basically when you have the right name, it has to be verbatim. It has to be exactly this. The address on here, it has to be exactly that. When you have the phone number, it has to be the same. So if you put down ST, you want to put down street, right? So these guys don't have any done on this location, but they're not inconsistent. So if I put in, the information here for ACE, you're going to see, you're going to see that it's just going to be empty, right? The rule of thumb is I just try and get up to 200. I have a service. I have a guy that does it. I pay him like a few $100s and he just goes out and he just does it. And when he's done, he just ranks. So it's data entry at its finest, right? It's not spam. It's a directory, right? Like people shop off of directories, but it's this mention. It's like, again, it just makes sense. All right, I'm going to talk about page speed and web design before I talk about benchmarking. I'm going to answer some questions. GMB, what about a business that has locations in 10 cities? Do it up. I would have like a GMB for each location. If it's a different city, I have a new GMB. Like you're missing out on tons of money. There's this company that I'm working with. They do medical, like they have a medical device and they also do physical therapy with their medical device. It's really cool. They're corporate. They sell their medical device to like chiropractors and massage therapists and stuff, and they have their own actual therapies, their own therapist offices. They have one GMB for all 20 offices, and I keep telling them, dude, what are you doing? They're struggling. I'm like, dude, you don't happen to have a GMB. If someone types in physical therapy St. Paul or physical therapy Minneapolis, they will never see you, dude. They will never see you. And they're like, yeah, we will. On what? Let me set up a GMB for each of the locations. They will get an envelope. You tell me, and I will verify it. And then you'll start getting clients. And we're like, yeah. How much is the client worth? Like $2,000? He's like, yeah. Okay, charge me. I'm gonna charge you $2,000 per location, and then I'm gonna rank it for you. How does that sound? That's like a basic question. Sorry. What tool do you prefer to find expired domains? Expired domains. Run it. I just go here, man. What I literally did was I look up pressure washing. So these are all domains that expired right now. So this tells you how many backlinks come to the website. So I click on this. So now this is Cash Money, Miami, Florida, pressure washing. If you're in Florida, you should talk to me and buy this domain. JJ Pressure Washing and Paint. Even more Cash Money. Geez, they've been around for a long time. 2009. So domains are like fine wine. All of these are really decent domains. What I do is I copy all of this. I put it into a spreadsheet so I only get the domains. I put it into Hrefs, right? I'm not going to log into Hrefs. I've already maxed out my thing for today, right? I've already maxed out. But you basically can see how much authority the website has and how many backlinks it has, and you can click the backlinks. Don't buy a domain that's been spammed. And you can tell, like it'll say like there's porn backlinks or there's backlinks from like casinos or backlinks that don't make any sense. Just skip those for now, right? If you find a domain that has like a DR of like 30 or more, like tell me and I'll buy it and I'll thank you. No, just seriously, domains like that are like a diamond in the rough. There are people that all they do is they mine this. They basically wait and then they buy an expired domain. So I use that. I haven't had any problems with it. Let me. Do we have to use local schema for GMB? Local schema isn't for GMBs, it's for the website. Example, attorney, we can use attorney schema. Oh, yeah. Oh, local schema, local business schema is basically the general version of what, if you can go deeper, attorney is a subset of local schema, local biz schema. At least that's how I think it is. Because if you're an attorney, obviously you're a business. When you go to schema.org, it'll tell you. So if let me actually look at this. Attorney, I'm spelling that wrong. Properties from local business. In programming, basically, it tells you attorney derives from legal service, and that derives from local business. So legal service is based off a local business, but not the other way around. A thing is not an attorney. An attorney is a thing. So should all the schemas be on all pages? No. I just do one for now, man. If it's a plumber, just do like local biz once, about, contact on their respective pages. And that's it. Should we add location info to the images? Does it affect? I saw a guy manually adding images. Like I say, like test things for yourself. I do things like, it's like name of the business, and if it's a picture of them, I do, whatever .jpg, and I upload that. I've seen people abuse that, and it works if people look at the address. It doesn't hurt to try. Actually, it does, but just do it anyway. You can always undo, but I've seen people put in like the full address and as the name dash, if it's a picture of the office, and then office at the end, .jpg. You can do that. I mean, the whole thing is Google reads the name. Google reads this, right? And if we're caring about the NAP, which is name, address, and phone number, it's going to parse that, and it's going to like remember that. It's going to do stuff with it. Just make sure you can keep consistent. And if the name is in the pictures, it'll work. Are you hiring? Sales only. And sales are tough for people that's never done sales. I can just teach you how to make sales, and you can just refer me work, and I'll just pay you. Not a question. Want to say thanks? Oh, thanks, man. I'm going to do more. Don't worry. I've already done a lot of them. I'll just keep you in the loop. What plugin do you use for caching? Oh, WP Rocket is what I use. It just works. Amazing tips in GMB. Thanks. How would you compare the Screaming Frog with Yoast? It's not similar. Not even the same. Yoast is like I want to use like a metaphor, but Yoast is just you need it. You need that to kind of like edit the meta titles. Like WordPress is for SEOs. People like web designers are switching out of WordPress because it's not the best to design even, but SEOs like it because we're stubborn and we're lazy. We tell clients, hey, we're going to charge you $1,000 a month for like 12 months and you might get results. You should. But we need WordPress. If you're on Wix, we won't work with you. Like, we're lazy. Yoast is a WordPress plugin that just makes it easy. And Screaming Frog Crawl is a professional tool. A client, a small business owner will never open this up. They can. It tells them like, hey, you have like missing alt texts. You got 16 missing alt texts. Google can't read this picture. It literally can't read the picture. Put in the keyword inside. They don't know that. It's useful. It's for SEOs. Unclear on the purpose of buying an expired domain. Domain from scratch takes much longer. Sandbox is what it's called. It takes longer to rank. If you buy an expired domain, something like bottled wine. Good expired domain is like bottled wine. You basically skip the sandbox, right? If you make a new site, it'll take, I'm not kidding, it'll take like 6 months. It'll take 6 months to even like index sometimes. But if you have an expired domain, they're probably already indexed, and you just kind of just go from there. It has SEO juice, that's the term. That's really interesting on the expired domains. I've never come across that before. Yeah, it's gravy. If you did find a domain with a decent DA, do you create a new website? So this is where we're going, the gray hat. Talk to me later. Also, let me actually answer it. If you find a domain with a decent DA, do you create a whole new website or do you just 301? Yeah, that's gray hat. We're talking about PBNs. Look up PBNs. Basically, people buy hundreds of these and use them for links. You didn't hear it from me. Well, you did. But a PBN is called a private blog network. So people basically, they buy a domain, right? So let's say, like exactly, I'm just going to touch on this because it's big. Let's say I am in London and I'm working on a client's website. I see that their competitor went out of business, or they stopped paying on their domain, and I bought this because I saw that it was a pretty authoritative website. Trust in Google relies from a lot of different metrics, but people, most companies, most SEOs agree that if a website is linked to a trustworthy, if you're getting a link from a trustworthy website, you're trustworthy, right? It's like if the president said that I'm a good guy, that's more credible than like Joe Schmo saying I'm a good guy. Like no one cares. Like, so if this is a website that's authoritative, I could literally make this a WordPress website, make sure none of you guys could ever see this website ever, because I can put in the robots that tools like Ahrefs cannot find this website, right? Only Google. And I can basically make this a fake website that says, hey, we do pressure washing in North London. Here's a few blog posts. By the way, click here if you want to learn about pressure washing in London. And that link to the client's website is worth money. So when you stop working with that client, or you can use that, I'm not going to go in depth about that, but you're leaning into gray hat when you're talking about that. Also, if you go into that and you fuck up, that's on you. If you mess up, it screws and kills all of your clients. Google hates this. Don't 301 it. It doesn't do anything. I based the website on this. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. Most schema found only have 2 or 3 core types to keep you no way to choose. How do you go about implementing them? You can just copy and paste. It's just meta. It's just a script. Code in the middle, right? Like that's it. Like that's all it is. That's all it does. It inserts it per page. You can get a template, replace the info, and paste. It just makes it easy. I've had that same problem. I just find it off of another client. I just copy. You like rank math and Yoast? I always solely use rank math. Yeah, me too. Most clients have Yoast, and if they don't have Yoast, I install Rank Math. There's others that are like premium, and I wish I could just like install Rank Math, but should we buy a branded expired domain? Thank you for so much value that provided for free. Yeah, sure. Um, I would strongly suggest you make sure it's a good domain. Most domains that expire are not so great. So if you find a domain that's been around for a while and you're okay with the name, like that's fine. Like we went with Ace Pressure Washing literally because it was in here. Like there were 3 other contenders. We just went with this. So we built it out like that. But if you have a customer, a client is already going to have a website anyway. But if you're starting from scratch, you could do that. Exact match domains still work, but isn't the greatest for branding. So, oh, did I broadcast a message? Oh, whoops. So an exact match domain would be something like Minneapolis SEO Expert.com. Like that's an exact match domain, but if I'm going to be like a big agency or if I'm going to have a brand, I wouldn't necessarily do that, even though that is a keyword. People get around with doing it. One guy did this for a while. His website was trash, but he had this in a domain. And I built a blog post that like ranked for, let me see, do I show up? Minneapolis. They might show up still. They used to literally be up here, but now I'm like right here, right? So an exact match domain, if that's all you're relying on, you're gonna get pushed out when people actually do SEO. Don't rely on it. It does help, but it's not good for branding. Like imagine if Amazon was like bookcompany.com or something. It's like, what? No, it's like buy books online. No, Amazon's catchy and it's better in the long term. All right, good stuff. People are still here. I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna talk about page speed optimization. I'm gonna ask folks, does anyone want me to run a page speed optimization on their site? Point out things like just the first person that can just post their domain as a question. I'd be able to take a look. Like, would you be able to take a look at this site? All right. All right. I'll just run both, don't worry. So this is a free tool. It is really cool. It tells you how fast your website loads. So as it's running, I'm going to answer questions in here if there's any. Oh, yeah. All right, cool. So it's basically checking for all these on-page things. And these are cool. Again, don't go to his site and bully him. But you can, what I do is I print this off. Like I print the screen, right? I have this plugin that prints the screen and I add that to my audit because they can go in and check it. And you can actually email companies this and say, hey, yo, your website, sometimes it says it loads in like 10 seconds. It's like, hey, your website loads in 10 seconds. Were you aware of this? By the way, here's my findings. Would you like me to help? You're going to get like 10 out of every 100 people replying, oh, I didn't know about this. Yeah, how much do you cost? Right? And you can charge probably, like a few $100s to $1,000 just to focus on this. And the plugins that I talked about do it for you. So page speed and why slow, I basically I don't really care. They're the same thing. This number should be under 2 seconds. If it's 3 seconds, that's fine. Obviously, the longer it takes to load, the worse experience a user has. Like Google and Amazon both published papers, and they talked about how for every 0.01 seconds their website loads, they miss out on the bounce rate and traffic, and they lose money, right? Because people aren't using it. This was on Amazon or something. So for a small business, it's not super critical, but obviously if you're on the website and it doesn't take 10 seconds, you're going to stay. If it takes longer, people are going to leave, right? We all do that. And the bounce rate means that Google said, if I visit a website, and no, this is the maps. If I visit a website and I click here, and it doesn't load, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna look at the next one. Google sees that there was a bounce and someone came here. They saw that someone searched, came here, didn't find what they wanted, and came here. We don't want that experience to happen. You want someone to come in and say, okay, this website loads, I can at least read it. Super important. I also look at requests. So when I'm using a website, when you use a website, it basically goes to a computer, and the computer has the files that run the website. So it goes back and forth, like, hey, fetch me this picture. Okay, here's the picture. Fetch me the text. Oh, here's the text. Fetch me the code that runs this plugin. Here you go. When you start getting more than like 40 requests, things get weird. It becomes even harder to increase the page speed because you're dealing with like a bunch of things that slow down the site. A new website runs really fast, but when it starts to be bloated with plugins, it doesn't do so well. Serve resources from a consistent URL. Let's look at that. And it just tells you. It just tells you some of these problems, and it tells you that it's a high thing. Serve scaled images. It's saying that these images could be reduced in size and it wouldn't really do anything. It would help. It says use a CDN, right? You could use a CDN. Add expire headers. Expire headers is basically caching. So if someone visits, or they basically have to re-download all of this code again. Don't let them re-download this stuff. There's a setting that you can do. Make fewer HTTP requests. Oof. Basically, you're saying, hey, I know you need JavaScript to run this page, but you have to do it 16 times. Like, go get me this file. Okay, give me this file. Okay, give me this file. Okay. You can just put them all together on one JavaScript. So instead of 16 runs, it's one, if that makes sense. So far, so good, right? WP Rocket, or that would work with that. And there's a plugin called it's really called minification. Right? You're just trying to minify all the JavaScript into one file. So far, it's good. This site loads in 6.7 seconds. It has 94 requests. Defer parsing of JavaScript. It tells you that when the web page loads, it takes a little bit of time to get to it. So it's blocking the page from actually rendering, which means it doesn't load. You don't see stuff on the page, right? There's a thing here that you can actually see how the website loads. So it gets here first, and then it loads this, and while that loads, other things load, right? So once it gets to here, and then it loads this, and then it loads this. When that's done, it loads this, and then when that's done, it loads this. So all that takes time. It takes almost 7 seconds. You've lost me, right? So work on this. You can inline your CSS. You can do better browser. Oh yeah, Hotjars. Yep, Hotjar is like a thing that like tracks how people use the website. You can make a better user experience. Expire headers. Yep, you don't cache. Make fewer HTTP requests because 94 is really big. It's 3 times more than the other guy who was loading in like 3 seconds. Use cookie-free domains. It's not a big deal. It says it's a low priority. Use a CDN. Looks like you are. That's good. Reduce the number of DOM elements. That's a lot of DOM elements. A DOM element is like div, and it's like an element, right? Like another DOM element is like an H1. That's something that goes in the DOM. That's you have a lot, and it says it's a lot, but not a whole lot. So there's things that you can improve. So I basically go in and I copy and paste this, right? So let me actually do these. It's going to be really basic, right? Because there's nothing on the site, so it's gonna be fast anyway. But this makes it easy to prospect and get clients that have big, bulky websites, especially if you target photographers. They love having like a 20 megabyte picture that takes like 60 seconds to load. They don't care. They'll put it on their homepage. So I would literally just put in the link. When it's done, God, it's gonna take some time. And I'm just gonna say, okay, well, it takes this amount of time, Mr. Client, to load your website. Here's proof. This third party audited your website, and I'm just interpreting it for you. So it's taking time. So image compression, JavaScript and CSS minification, like I said, do you have a CDN, gzip? Gzip is not something that pops up a lot, but it's basically, it's like, you know how you have like a zip file? It's like that, but for web pages. It's on the server, so if a client's using a really old server, you'll use it. Like GoDaddy's up to date. Say serve scaled images, optimize images. HTTP requests says it's too high for the page. Expire headers. So I would do this. Paste. It was like 1.7, right? And like 31 requests. Oh, hosting name. Does it say? I think there's like something here that tells me, yeah, server, flywheel, 1.5.1. I basically just copy and paste info. Not all hosts are the same. If you are running GoDaddy or Bluehost or HostGator, doing like the $1 or $5 a month web hosts per month, that's fine if you just want to have a site design. But this is it's called Nginx, like the host. So every time when people use the website, they're dealing with the server. But if people are running on an Apache server, which is like GoDaddy, Bluehost, and everything, the website slows down when there's more users. So when if this website gets like 1,000 or thousands of users, everyone's going to suffer. We don't want that. We want everyone to have a nice, fast experience. Image compression was a problem. Browser caching problem. Fine. Was there a CDN? Was that a problem? Nope. CDN setup. Yep. So I have a CDN set up because I basically host websites. Okay, so now we're going to talk about web design. Before I get into it, hold on, real fast, like flash your hand, raise your hand a few times if you do web design. If you offer it to your clients, you just kind of like, you do something. Okay, just a few. Okay, how many people would like to know how to make a WordPress website like in an hour and learn how they can sell it for like $1,000? Okay, not enough hands going up. Maybe I'll skip it. Okay. Oh, some new hands. Interesting. Okay, I'll talk about that once I get through this. Thanks, everyone. So when I'm looking at the site, most websites are on WordPress. Most websites are able to be looked at on their phone. And if I'm on a tablet or on my computer, I can check if this website's mobile friendly. I just right click and go to inspect. And it tells me, this is literally the code that runs this website, right? It kind of squishes it, but you can actually click this button. I'm in Chrome, right? I can click on this. And it tells me that it's, how it's, if it's responsive. So if I squish the actual, window, this is what it'll look like. Okay, so far so good. But how does it look if I'm on my phone, right? I can click on this and I say, okay, well, I have an iPhone X. So this is what it looks like on an iPhone X. It looks fine, it looks good. You can read it. Sometimes there's websites where it's just broken, right? Or they made it like in Flash or in Dreamweaver 10 years ago. at 30%, everyone knows this, 30% of searches are off of a smartphone, right? Everyone knows this. So make your website be readable on a smartphone. Otherwise, you're literally missing out on 30% of possible business that you could be getting. So that's why I tell clients. So this site looks good. If you can't read it, it's a red flag. Do they have a search, right? So if you go to, if you're going shopping, there's two sorts of people, and I learned this from one of the UX Bibles. There's a book on user experience. They basically say, well, make it easy. Don't make the user think. If you go shopping and you want to buy a chainsaw, you basically just look at you go in and you can just ask the person, where's your chainsaw? Point me in the right direction. Some people aren't like that. They'll just say, okay, well, I need to go buy power tools. So they go to power tools. And then they go to, okay, where in power tools? Oh, heavy machinery. Okay. Then they see all the chainsaws. Oh, cool. I want yellow. I like yellow. I like this one. This one's $200. And they just buy it. Site search is just another way. And it also lets people find what they want. And it's essential if you have more than like 100 pages. And it takes like 10 seconds to just find and enable in WordPress, right? So far, so good. Breadcrumbs, it's not even set up, but breadcrumbs is this, right? So if I click on legal service, right, it takes me to a legal service page. For a small business, it would be something like, it would look like thing, place, local business / legal service, right? It would look like this. So if I click on local business, it should take me to this, right? Right? It just makes sense. It lets people use the website. It lets Google crawl the website, because if I'm crawling, I can understand how all the pages interact. And if there's structure, Google likes structure, right? So far, I don't see it. They don't even have blog posts, so it's not. Social media on the site. Usually it's on the top or on the bottom. I don't see it. It doesn't take more, oh, okay. Okay, hashtag just refreshes the page. It does not take more than an hour to add 30 posts to Twitter, 30 posts to Facebook. You can literally say, hey, here's a picture that we did. Thanks, Bob, right? If you're running it for a client, you can literally get new clients to say, hey, I saw your Google, I saw your Facebook, I saw your Twitter, I saw your Instagram. What I'd like to do is I'd like to manage it for you for 30 days for free. And what you do is you could use a tool to basically clone what you're posting and syndicate it to like their Google My Business. So publish to the Google My Business first, and then it'll publish it to the Twitter and to the Facebook. I've done this. It works really well. You make sure that the primary one is on the page that obviously you want to rank. You don't want to rank Facebook. You want to rank the blog post. But if they don't have social media, it doesn't take much. They can literally write out like a sentence, take a picture of what they're doing. They could schedule it. Facebook lets you do that. You can schedule it and post it. In 1 hour, you can manage a client's Facebook, and it produces like 30 social signals throughout the month. And then when they stop and they don't want to pay you, they're going to have this weird void where they're just like, okay, we had a bunch of customers come in and we had a bunch of blog posts. We should probably hire that guy, huh? Right? And he says that he can do more than, most companies literally charge like $1,500 to post like once a day. And it's like a paragraph, and it's terrible. Right? Don't provide value. Call to action above the fold. So a call to action is what you want people to do. Web design and user experience go hand in hand for me. Just because a site looks nice doesn't mean that it'll convert into conversions. So I want people to actually do something. I want people to take the next step. What I found out is if you pretend that the user is like a really old mom that just wants help, you start to make things simpler. So when I made this, I basically said, okay, well, I'm just going to take a picture of the team working. I'm just going to add like a little book now or view the services button. Sometimes, like these guys, like I built this guy's page. This is strictly, oh my God, they're butchering it. This was like a long button. See, you can see kind of the trend, like a video in the background that I put together for them, right? People opt in here. This is clearly the next step you want the user to take. Obviously, if they're here, they want a coupon, right? So on and so forth. Make it easy. If they hit here, make sure they know what to do. Like hold their hand. I see so many websites where they don't have a call to action. They don't have any forms. They don't even have a chat bot. They have nothing to kind of tell people what they want the user to do, and then they leave. They don't know what to do. A lot of people have like a bunch of buttons up here. Like you have a bunch of things in your menu. Yeah, it's a big site. When I realized when I cut out all of the pages on my site, I had like 30 pages. I basically only had 5 pages. I didn't have like a big menu where you could have other pages in there. They can get to it if you want, but I just made it simple. Talk to me. And then case studies, web design case studies. It was easy, right? People started actually converting off of my site. It was great. I just said, okay, well, here's my case studies, here's my results, and they liked it. All right. So far, so good for these guys. Proper navigation. So if I expand, this is what it looks like. It looks fine. That's good. I have a terrible desktop. Proper navigation. It's good. It's going to have more pages. AMP. It's fine. AMP stands for Accelerated Mobile Page. So if, let's say you're on your phone, and you want to look at the news and there's breaking news, obviously people want to access that post as quickly as possible. It's just going to be text, maybe a video. And if you've ever noticed that sometimes when you're on your phone, like I'm on my phone right now, and you look at a blog post or like a news article, it's just text. It doesn't look like the website. It's mobile friendly specifically for mobile. It's just mobile, right? And it runs really fast. There's no big pictures. There's no like CSS and JavaScript. It's just accelerated really fast. This is mostly for big websites that publish a lot of content. I just call them news websites. So that's my audit, right? I took a lot of time to explain. Usually it takes me around 10 to 15 minutes to just go through it. I attached a Screaming Frog crawl. Right, I just kind of go through and I just do that, and I show it to the client. And I say, hey, here's all the things, and I take the time, just like I'm doing with you, and I say, here's why that's important, sir. And by the time he gets to here, he's like, wait, how much more? I'm like, I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, okay, how much does it cost? Because I have a budget of like $2,000. I can pay you. My guy isn't literally doing any of this, obviously. Can I just pay you? And I'm just like, sure, I suppose so. You got a card? So that's why I do it. I tell the client it'll take like 2 weeks, and we can circle back at the end of the month. I call this the roadmap. I call it the SEO roadmap. It's fantastic. There's like 6 other SEO agencies last year that are using this. I taught some guys out over in the Netherlands and in Denmark how to use this to get better sales. I taught him how to reach out. I taught him how to network. I taught him how to host events, things like that. There's a lot of things, but this is just how you get into the door. Most SEOs, I wouldn't say SEOs, most SEO companies force people to be on a contract. They force people to be with them for 12 months. And if the client wants to cancel, they have to like pay like the remainder. Like it's nuts. If you're an SEO freelancer, you have an upper hand. If you're a business, you just go straight to the money. You have this, or you just do it. Or you can pay someone to do it, and it'll be a lot faster and better. But if you manage a lot of sites, this is just a nice, easy process. I can give this to my guy. I can say, yo, here you go. Here's the login to a website. Here's the Google My Business. Here's the Google Search Console. Here's the Google Analytics. Here's some other tools. Go to town. And he'll just come back. So when a client comes back, this is what he'll see. When I talk to him, right? Like basically I'll be like, hey, we worked on all of these, and if he ever asks, oh yeah, show me, I just show him, right? While we're working, before I even talk to the guy, I go in and I double check, because remember, it takes me like 10 to 15 minutes. I don't have to explain. I just do it. I just check. I just double check the guy's work. And I also look at the notes, right? I have a worker note, I have me notes. I just kind of go in and say, yo, this is good. This is good. So what the client really sees is just green, right? When you're talking money, this is green. So I spent way too much time like explaining how I audit. I didn't actually work on the fucking website. So I'm just gonna keep this series going, I guess. And I'm just gonna work on the site. There's things I can do to make it all look like this, but yeah, that's at the end of the day, that's what I want to do. So I'm going to answer some questions. I'm going to talk about like the next thing in benchmarking, which is the step that comes after this. This is a step that I basically, I do this, and then I do this. I just do this. I just do it. That's it. That's what I do. The reason why I start off with this is most people, they just have a problem. You can help them. When you build out citations and it's a local business, they suddenly get calls and it's weird to them. They attribute it because they finally have their problems taken care of. But once I get to benchmarking, I look at pages and I suggest new pages to build, and I look at pages that are ranking and I say, hey, this page shows up in Google Search Console and gets like no clicks, or it gets like less than 8% click-through rate. You're getting like 0.1% click-through rate. You gotta get more, dude. And he's like, how? Right? Like, how do I get more clicks on here? Like, I'm here, how do I get clicks? I'm here, how do I get people to click? Right? And it's obvious, right? Look at this. A guide to SEO for first is better than Woodbury SEO. This is cooler. And plus, I know her. She's cool. She's a cool person. The person that runs this, Sama, she's cool. It's not too bad. So I am going to start talking about how you can build a WordPress website in like, I don't know, like in an hour. Like you can set up the template in like in an hour. You can have the website go live like in an hour. But yeah, people were talking about that. Let me answer some questions. All right. You know, you can just go to GT Metrics and go there directly. Yes. Yep. Yep. I'll send an email. What hosting company do you recommend? I basically build a website on WordPress plus host for like $59 a month. There's tons of providers. I like. Oh, what's up? Yeah, you can use my phone. There's tons of providers. I'm using these guys. I'm using these guys. I have like 30 websites that I'm hosting with them, and they manage it. But really, start off and use like a cheap host. If you are using a big, better host, just talk to me. But I could probably help you. Like I pay for a server. I could just host your website for free, man. Just ask me. But there's tons of providers. But the thing you want to look up is like an Nginx or a VPS, like a virtual private server, like a business class. Those usually run like $30 a month, and you can go from there. And when I say like you build a website on WordPress, like I'm just going to show you how. Do you recommend buying domains and create blog posts to your desired main domains, or just route the traffic? Just build a good website, build good content. That's better than your competitors. Do your metas and follow benchmarking to a T, and you'll naturally overcome people who just are lazy and build links only. Don't get me wrong, building links matter, but you can just build good content. Google cares for good content. But Obviously, you do want to build links, but build good content, and then it just makes it easy. And plus, you get people sharing your website. I am going to basically show you how to build a site. I'm just going to add new pages to this site. If you don't know how to set up a WordPress website, just ask me. And if you're okay, I could just make a site, right? But what I do is I install a theme. A theme is like a collection of pages. I'm going to talk about this for like a minute or two, and then I'm just going to move on here. So I have this thing called Divi. I can basically pre-install it. I've already paid for the license or whatever. But then let's say I have a page. I can literally just add a new page, right? And if you're a small business owner, this is why you shouldn't pay like $5,000 for a website, because this is what people are doing. Like, just pay me $5,000, I'll fucking send you 50 grand. So let's say I have a page. Let's say it's a very specific service. Let's say it's window cleaning, right? I'm literally just gonna publish. I don't care. What I have is a plugin called Divi Builder that allows me to build the page. So right now there's literally nothing here, and I can go to this page now, and this is what it looks like. So I just click here, I click enable, and I see these little dot things. I click on this, and then I just click. There's all these templates. So I'm gonna click on one of these. Is there one for window cleaning? No. This is it's not exhaustive. There's millions of these pages that you can build. These are just a few that I have fast access to. Service pricing, landing page service, right? It says residential cleaning. It looks familiar, right? So I'm gonna click use this layout, replace existing, and I'm just gonna wait a second. What do you know? So let's say I'm in Woodbury, window cleaning. Need a Woodbury window cleaning service. Case, pressure, washing, blah, 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 right? And I would also add, there's ways to do keyword research. Keyword research is not that hard and not that easy. You don't want to over optimize and you don't want to under optimize. But something like this, exterior cleaning professionals, whatever the keyword is, and then add that. The keyword is that, then I would say blah, 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 exterior cleaning professionals, right? I would just say that. Replace all of the text. Do not keep any of the text, because other people have used this page, and replace all the images if you want. And you can just go in and edit the alt texts, right? Right? Easy. That's just money. You do that, you're going to do well. And that's it. There's templates for the about page. There's templates for everything. It'll take you like 2 minutes to get to where I am, right? It's not too bad. Replace the text, get copy. Remember, you can pay someone $30 to write all of the text here. They'll do a really good job, right? Just do that, and this page by itself, a company would already pay $500 for, right? I mean, hell, like a window cleaner gets paid $50 to spend 5 minutes on a window, right? Make your money, man. You got it. Is Divi the only theme you use? There's better themes. It's bulky, but it's what I'm using right now. Elementor runs a bit faster. Heard good things about Beaver Builder, but I like Divi because I'm lazy and it's easy. Yeah, Divi is bulky. It does take time, but I develop pages faster with it. I mean, it's just easier for me. I just double click, and when I'm done, I just click save. I click exit, or I click save down here. I click save and exit. right? And the URL is here, right? And if I want to change that info, I click on edit page. It really is not something you need to spend a ton of time on. Okay, we've been doing well. It's 6:30. I believe we started at 4. I'm going to take a brief 5-minute break. You should go grab some water. If you have any sort of questions, just plop them in here. I'm basically going to talk about the next step. So I'm basically going to, I'm just going to like hang out here and prepare. But the benchmarking step is the step that makes the money, right? This fixes the problems. It's like if you're building a house, you don't want to build a house on stilts. You don't want to build a house on sand. Like lay a good foundation of just proper SEO concrete. I mean, like flash your hands, like show of hands, like what here is not good for SEO? Like what here is not good? Like, is there anything here that's possibly like a waste of time? Like anyone, like I'm not going to contest you, like that's fine. Like all this stuff just sort of makes sense, right? When you're talking to clients or if you're a business, like these are just things you just have to do. If you want, you can ask some questions. Oh, Gutenberg, no, I don't have an opinion on it. If you want to ask some polls, I'm gonna basically put some polls up. If you want to take a look and you want to like vote or you want to like talk about it, ask some questions like, why is this important for you? Like, have you left me a question in QA? Why not? How's this broadcast so far? Like, what level is your website at? Take some time, answer some of that. I'm gonna go grab some water. I promise I'll be back in like 3 minutes. And we're gonna be talking about this next step. So I'm gonna stop sharing for just a second so I can edit some stuff on this next page to make sure there's no client data on there, right? Talk to you soon. Just gonna go in and do that. Yeah, there we go. All right. All right, thanks guys. It'll probably be like in a minute. Is it sure gonna hurt your back? Oh, well, that hurt your back. It's kind of small.
When are you gonna be done?
I'm still recording. But, you know, all right, I'm gonna go right into it. How many people did we lose? Oh, cool. Thanks for still being here. I'm gonna answer some questions and then just go into benchmarking. Thank you so much for your time. Cool. I don't have an opinion. I'm sorry. What's the optimal ratio of keywords to word counts and content? Does Google penalize keyword stuffing? Well, yeah. Or is avoiding that mostly about creating high quality natural? Both. You can basically over optimize, which everyone knows about. and under-optimize for the same keyword at the same time. You don't want to over-optimize and under-optimize. So there's a way that I basically like simplify it like in a sentence, right? It's you want to do 30% more than your competitors. So if your competitor does like, you know, if they say the keyword once or twice, you want to do more. And this benchmarking actually talks about that. So thanks for bringing that up. And when you write content, it's for people, and if people like it, they're going to share it, and you're going to get links. But if you don't talk about your keyword, you're not going to get any links. Like I'm talking with this company, they sell VoIP services, right? Like VoIP services. Their website doesn't even mention it. But the website looks nice, right? They don't even say that. So they're not ranking for it, not ranking for anything. But do 30% more than your competitors as a as a baseline, it will be better. Like 30% longer, like 30% longer content, better value. No, you're gonna beat them. For some niches, it's just obvious. Like with the plumbing, with like stuff like this, some of them are just not so obvious, but for some, it's like, it's clear as day, like Facebook and Home Advisor versus like a real company, right? Hi, Halal here. Thank you so much, time and energy with us. I came in late. Would this be a great place to start a fresh newbie to learn SEO, or do you have any suggestion? Yeah. It would, you know, honestly, if you've never done SEO before, just offer SEO audits. You don't change anything, but you produce value and you learn real technical SEO and not guru bullshit fast. I would apply these on your own pet project. Look up rank and rent. So basically, if you make it's not a fake business, but if you make a business website and it ranks, you can lease it to a real business and they get 100% of the business, and they cut you like 1 to 10 grand a month for doing nothing. So instead of them paying you 5 grand to like rank you, instead of you getting paid 5 grand to rank their website, you make a website. And if you're practicing and you make a site and then you lease it, that's what you're going to do. Like that's what I'm doing with this, right? I'm just going to lease it, and if my guy doesn't want to do the work or he's busy, I'm just going to farm out the work and get paid, right? Yep. Yeah, if you need help, just talk to me, man. Right? So I'm going to open this up. I'm going to open this up and I'm going to go in. So what benchmarking is, I basically had a list, right? I took the Screaming Frog crawl. So basically it's this. What I do is I map that. So if I have a page here, obviously this page is currently getting keywords. It's getting results. It's getting impressions. It's getting clicks. There's a click-through rate, which is a percentage. It's a fraction, right? And it also has an average position. Remember, where can you get that information? You get that from Google Search Console. Okay, so compared to your average freelancer, I don't think there's any data here, to be honest. Okay, let me go to, I'm just gonna go to, please no bully. I'm just gonna go click on this one. This tells you data compared to someone that doesn't get it, someone that doesn't know SEO, someone that will damage the reputation or business line of how the company gets sales from online leads. This lets you use objective data to prove that you're doing the work, that you're doing a good job, and you're doing the things that you need to do. So what I do is I take a crawl And if you pay for it, Screaming Frog Crawl lets you, here, I don't need to clear, lets you attach Google Analytics and Google Search Console, and you can pull that information. If you have Ahrefs, you can literally pull in the value. If you have analytics set up, and if you remember, like a lead, like a conversion is worth like $50, you can place value on how much traffic this website is getting or how much it has earned that business, right? You basically say, hey, you go out, and I forgot to pay my license, so I'm not really using it right now. I'm sticking to local stuff. You can set a date and range, and you basically just sync it up to your account. And you paste that in here. Look from the top to bottom, look at how the site is in terms of impressions. So I'm just going to skip this. I'm not going to show you the actual URLs, but when I have this, it will actually tell you how many clicks the page has, how many impressions it has, right? And like right here, right? It tells you all this information. When you compare that with Google Search Console data and the keyword that the page is actually showing up for, it's just stupid powerful. So if let's say I'm looking at this page, I can literally put in, the date, but I can put in the page, and it's only that page, exactly that page. And you can get only how that page does in the search. So for this guy, so if I do this, it'll tell me like what he gets off of that page exactly. So I gotta put in HTTPS. I'm spelling it wrong. Okay. You can literally just you would paste it in, and you'd see the traffic. They want to see an upward trend. I'm just managing their website. Like this client, I just built him a website and I ranked it locally. It took me like not that much time. Actually, let me go back because it's been a while. Oh my God! So this only goes back to this time last year. He was flatlining. He didn't have a site, and then I got him a site that has this. We never touched his click-through rate. We never actually worked in his click-through rates. We just built exposure. Like I put him at the top of Minneapolis Tax Company. Like I think he's still up here, right? Oh, he's right here. Oh, shucks, he got pushed down. Or maybe it's right here. But basically, when you know what keyword each page is currently ranking for, you can work on it. So let me actually bring up exactly, because it's been a while. I should just take a break, right? Let's say I'm looking at this and I have the home page. Let me actually go to. If I have to get like the actual URL. There we go. I'm going to go to performance, paste it in. It's the page. I'm basically doing this for every page on my website, starting with the page that has the most impressions. Treat it like it's marble that you're crafting and you're making a sculpture. If there's no clicks, that means it's just a block. But if you have something that has tons of impressions, there's lots of room for improvement. This click-through rate should be at least 3 or 5%. The other site that you saw earlier, the adult website, it's like 7 and 8% click-through rate. It's nuts, right? You're getting clicks. So what I do is I go in, I click on this by impressions for SEO Tax Services. I see this right here. I see that this is obviously the keyword we want to rank that page for the brand name, right? There's also some of these other keywords that the home page ranks for, but they're not getting any clicks, which gives us an idea. Let's make a page for tax preparation Minneapolis and interlink that page to boost that page. But we're working on it page by page. So let's say, we're working on a page, and that's the site, and we find that this is the keyword. that we're trying to go for, right? It got 4 clicks out of 717 impressions. That's not so good. We know that this gets more clicks. We want this to show up. They're a big brand. They have multiple offices. They want their brand to show up for their homepage. So I would pull this info. I would go back and pull this info. I would copy this info, 141 clicks, 156K, whatever. I would put that in here. And you can start monitoring where that keyword shows up in their average position for what they're doing. The rest of these columns allow us to use other forms of data to just improve their site. UR rating is the URL's rating, and that's off of Ahrefs. It's like $100 a month, but the UR is basically how authoritative and how much authority the page has, and DR is a sum, like an average, of all of the pages. So this page, Teespring, has 754,000 keywords because it has like 37,000 referring domains. It has almost 30 million backlinks, which makes them authoritative because other websites link to them. They're trustworthy. They have tons of votes. People like them. So if I'm looking at this, I buy Ahrefs, I put them in this tool, and I say, okay, what is this page that I'm auditing? Actually, it's more like this. I'm looking at this page. I'm sorting. Like I'm basically doing this first. If I start off at this page, right? If I'm working on this page, because all of these are different pages, I see that this is the number one keyword. I see that it's not getting any clicks. Doesn't matter. There's a lot of room for me to sculpt with. If I get 3% of this, I'm going to get a lot of clicks. So this is how you can improve clicks. Sorry, I'm like going around. I do this after I do the audit. I've been doing a lot of audits lately, but you get that if people aren't clicking, that's missed money. An impression doesn't move the needle. It gives you room to work with. It shows you where you're indexing, but there's room for improvement. The UR rating tells you how authoritative this page is. So let's say I put this in the tool, and the tool gives me a UR rating of 13 because it's the home page. People link to it. That's fine. This is kind of like repeated again. It just tells me where we're at. I also look up response time. I look up GT metrics and I record this time. Let's say the time is maybe it's like 6.9 seconds. Way too long, right? Oh my God! No, we do time over here. I forgot what RT was. It's supposed to be keyword difficulty. But basically, if I put up a search on Ahrefs, right, and I can see the keywords, each of the keywords have some sort of indicator of how difficult that keyword is. So if Teespring, the keyword, has a keyword difficulty of 7, I record that. So if I take the keyword here and I see that the keyword difficulty is like 3, right, and it's less than the UR rating of 13, right, the difference is 10. Which means it's easy. It's really easy for us to re-optimize this page for this keyword because the difficulty is less than the UR rating. If the UR rating is like 0, which is what a new website is, and the difficulty is 3, you're going to have a bad time. Basically, you're starting from nothing and you're trying to get something. So if you work with keywords, you can just find keywords that have like 0 in keyword difficulty. Right? And it's gravy. All you have to do is make a page and you'll rank. But the more keywords you rank, the more your domain rating and your UR rating will grow naturally over time. And then all your other pages UR will grow naturally throughout the website. So that's important. So find a keyword that you're indexing for, that you're getting impressions for, like tax preparation Minneapolis. Let's say that was the #1 impression thing up here, and we make a page for it, and that's getting impressions, and that's the number one thing, I would just go for it. If it's perfect, it's good. And I would optimize for it. And there's some things that we do to make sure it's optimized for that keyword. We check for duplicate content penalties. Someone talked about duplicate content earlier in the chat. Use a tool like Copyscape. Copyscape is like a plagiarism checker. You could use that. There's like a premium version. But basically, if I put in a website, it tells me what percentage of the website is used somewhere else on the website. So if I'm on a website and it's this text, you know, like this text here has been on another website, this page won't rank. So these guys are good. If you make a website, the header, like the menu will be the same on all of the pages, right? The footer is going to be the same. So you might have like 5% or 10% duplicate if everything else is unique. But most people that do SEO bad or do web design bad, they just copy and paste the same stuff, and they just paste the same stuff, and they change the city. That works until it doesn't work, and then you just have to reduce this. So this is big, it's red because it's one of the most important things. So if you have something, when you put it into Copyscape, it literally will just tell you, oh, this page, 90% of the content is also on this page, right? It'll tell you 90%. It'll say it's, oh, position 80 because it's 90% of it. It's gunk. It's just garbage. Just replace the text. That's how you fix that. You want that to be close to 0% as possible, but realistically 5% is good. Click-through rate. Take the keyword that you have, that you're trying to go for, and just record the click-through rate. You can use Google Search Console to record the actual click-through rate for the keyword, right? Like I can add this, and you can see that, like this is at 0%. We're just recording this. We're setting a benchmark to say, here's a snapshot, right? I just put that in here, 0, position, you know, whatever. I can get the position too, right? Just average position, 14. Cool, they're on the second page. They're really close. Here's how they can work. Look at the word count. Look at the average of their competitors. So if I look up that keyword, or if I'm looking up that keyword, look at their keyword. Let's just take a look at the top like 3. How many words do you see on this page? Like 100? Like 200? All of this is on all the other pages, and all of this is probably on a ton of other pages. Is this the only, like a few paragraphs? Let's take a look at this. This isn't really a tax service, but there's a lot of unique content here. It's not necessarily a tax prep, but you know, I'll take it. But it's not a lot. Let's look at Yelp. It's kind of the same thing, but it's not really a ton of info. It's not a lot of content. What would you say? Like, is that around like 200, 300 words? On this site, it's not a lot of words either. So there's tools that you can use to just record the words. Just you can record the amount of words and then you just average it up. If you can do more than your competitors, like 30% more, you'll just beat them. So if on average you have like 200 and this company has like, you know, maybe 600, right? That's fine. You don't have to like take words off, like it's fine. But if you're doing the same and you're wondering why you're not beating them, well, you could probably, you know, add more, right? It only takes like $10, right? Just tell someone to write what is a, you know, if this is the keyword, what is a window sign? How do you do window signs? Why use us for window signs? And just have them write stuff. So like the deficit, I write down like 300, right? So I just tell them, hey, do this, and then do a little bit more. Like, do the same with images. How many images does the site have? Like 2 in the top 10. You know, sometimes you see some sites, it might be like 30, like most, you know, e-commerce, everyone has a ton of photos. Why do you only have 2? The difference is you have to add like a whole lot more, right? There are tools that do all this for you, by the way. It costs like $10 a month, but this just lets you get the basics going. But make sure you have the keyword in the title, in the literal title. Make sure you have the keyword in the meta description. Make sure you have the keyword in the alt text. Make sure you have the alt text, not over optimized. Like if you have like 30 photos and you all say the word window sign them, you're over optimizing. Like do it like once or twice. Like you can say window and sign in different ways. Like come on. Make sure you only have one H1 tag. I have consulted a company. I told them, hey, literally every header tag you have is an H1 tag. Just do one. And he said, no, I like how it looks. They have like 0 traffic. But what do I know? Have H2 tags, a little bit more than your competitor. Don't do more than 12, and then break it up into like H3s and H4s. Look at what your competitors are doing. Like, okay, you have 3, but your competitors have like 8. Okay, do like 9, right? Like you're 5 below, do more. Are you even doing internal linking or not? Are you doing it? No? What does Copyscape say? It's a link, right? But your competitors have like 8? Okay, do like 9, right? Like you're 5 below, do more. Are you even doing internal linking or not? Are you doing it? No? What does Copyscape say? It's a link, right? Does it pass Copyscape? And I usually leave a link. I have a link to the client site. No bully, please. So I do this. I take a snapshot of this and I basically make a copy of this. So I would do like benchmark March, and then I would go the next month, update all of this, and then I do benchmark for April. Right? What that does is it tells the client, and plus, if you know like Google Sheets, you can basically compare this number and this number, and this number and this number across sheets, and you can actually like show the difference, and you can plot that. I don't. They just care for the calls. They just notice more calls coming in. I just have this. It's really basic. So if I'm working on this URL and none of the other URLs on the website, if this is a keyword, I make an interlink. So I would go to another page. You can literally look up the keyword plus their domain. So anything that includes the TrujilloService.com, anything that mentions this exactly, just go back, edit that, make sure that goes to the URL. This is the URL that you're trying to rank this keyword for. When you do that, you leave the link to that as proof. You link to that, make another page, link back to this page as proof, so on and so on. And then you do that a few times and you say, okay, I've done it 5 times, right? When you do that, you basically let Google and users flow around the website better. So I'm just going to show a roofing company that I had audited, and I started working with them. And they do this pretty well. So Zimmerman is just a city, right? Zimmerman gets searched 300 times a month. Zimmerman roofing. It's just a term. People keep looking up Zimmerman roofing. This company shows up literally because they put in Zimmerman roofing here. Zimmerman re-roofing, close. License roofing, not the same. Zimmerman's roofing LLC, roofing Zimmerman MN, siding Zimmerman, okay. They're here for a reason, and that's because their website just interlinks. They have pages here that link to Zimmerman roofing, and they link out of Zimmerman roofing. They are roofing, siding, and storm damage, right? It goes to their roofing page, their siding page, their storm damage page, their page, in the slug, right? They call this the slug. It's called Zimmerman Roofing Services Company. And they link. It's not, I think they're linking too much, but they can do more with this. But they're at the top. They have more value. They talk about it. I'm sure it's a little bit unique. And when I check out some of the other pages, some of the other location pages, these are actually like written pretty decently. You're not copying and pasting the content and just changing the city. They actually have this. And Zimmerman roofing is the keyword you're trying to go for, right? And it's in here, right? It's just money. They're getting probably like $200,000 a month during the summer seasons by doing this. Like, you know, like 300 clicks a month, and they get maybe 1 out of every 10 click to be a lead, right? Roof repair is maybe like $5,000. A roof replacement or install is like 30 grand. Like, this is why I do exteriors, guys. But that's that. I mean, you do that enough, you're going to start to get some real results happening. Did I close out of the spreadsheet? Yeah, I did. Anyway, I'm going to take some time to answer some questions. I'm just losing energy, guys. I'm going all out. Have you seen success with rank and rent if you don't have a physical location? There's ways around it. So a rank and rent is like you're leasing out a site. And if you don't have a physical location, that's fine. Like, you can still like get calls to your phone or forward people leads. Like, that's not hard. Sometimes what I do is I build like 50 GMVs for some areas because Google is slow and customers are slower and competitors don't care about Google at all. They just say, oh, okay. I have a way. I just build 50 GMVs, and then rank them and then forward them. One of my friends does this, and he makes like 10 grand a day. He just forwards leads and charges like $100 per lead, and he's comfortable. But you know, you can build one and forward. It doesn't matter. People don't actually go to the locations anyway. I understand you don't want to talk business, but if you go on a screen share and go through my company site, what would you charge in Ireland? Honestly, my prices start at 100%, $100 per audit. But if you're cool, just PM me and I'll do it for free. If you're open to chatting tomorrow. If you want, I can just audit your site during another stream. Like, it's not a big deal. If you like what I'm doing. Which tools do you pay besides Ahrefs? Oh, an ongoing service. Like if you're okay with like $1,000, I'd start there. Which tools do you pay besides Ahrefs? There's like 30 tools I use that are paid. I'm not trying to share my source, but there's just things that you can do. Just stick to like the free tools first, like ubersuggest.io. I think that's paid now, but it still works. Spyfu.com is good and cheap. Ahrefs is a must for keyword research for national companies. I'm only using like one $30 a month tool. I'm using like one tool that basically for local, and it just helps me keep track of where they are ranking for locally. And that's a secret. I'm not sharing that because I'm using that right now. I'm making phone calls and audits, and I'm just fucking killing it. I'm not sharing that right now. I mean, there's tons of tools, but if you really want to, you know, the higher end tools, it would be pages like Quora. That's a big one. I like SEMrush, but it's okay. I'm not going to mention it. I like SpyFu because I worked with someone that worked with me who worked for SpyFu, who worked for me. So I like them. They're based on Scottsdale. I'm going to give a shout out to Page Optimizer Pro, right, by Kyle Roof. He's a cool guy. I saw him speak at a conference last week. Pretty cool guy. Like basically all of these tools, and you should be charging like $1,000 per client, right? Don't have them pay for the tool, but provide the value. How do you get a fictitious business website to rank? NAP. Remember what I said earlier? I mentioned this with business citations. If you have your name, address, and phone number on a page, it's a citation. Let me give you a lay of the land. A marketing company, like a big bulky agency with like 100 employees, they basically, half of them are salespeople that understand the needs of a business. They try and talk to companies and they cold call. That's why people hate SEOs, because these salespeople cold call. But they sell packages of like things that are just citations. There's services that basically build out NAP packs, right? Just bunches of yellow page and a Yelp and a Facebook page, right? You could use your home address. You could use an address that you have access to, right? You can't be a PO box, but there are ways to set up a GMB. I'm not going to go on and talk about how you can abuse it. That's not what I'm here for. What I do is I use the real business. I use the real business's GMB and I set that up properly. That's what I do. That's what I would do. But if you're using a fictitious business, that's not really a fictitious business. You're the business. So when I have a site, it could be like my actual location, like my own house, or my office, or my client's second inbox, right? You can do like suite number 1, and I tell them, hey, if you get an envelope for suite number 2, give that to me. I'll pay you $100. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. So that's like a secret, right? Just be legit. Like don't do black hat stuff. Don't do gray hat stuff if you don't know how to do white hat stuff. Like that's just, oh my God. I had product schema, the posts to get stars. Very good, smart. It does. Yes, keep doing it. What they're talking about is, let's say I'm looking up men's shoes. If I'm trying to buy shoes, sometimes you see, maybe I'd be more specific. Nike men's shoes, 12 size. I don't know. Sometimes you see 5 stars in here, right? Sometimes you might actually see this in the literal link, and that's a schema. You're literally telling Google, this is my page. Here is how many reviews this product gets. It has 12 reviews. It is a very good idea if the schema is unique. You will get penalized if you add it to other pages. Like if you have one location on a GMB, and then that location has like 13 reviews, and then you have like 10 pages for locations, and they each have the same 13 reviews, and you do this, it's bad. Don't do this. The really cool thing is, the secret to this is if you have a page where you actually paste in the testimonial on that page, that counts as a review. So if you have people that submit reviews to you and you can prove it, Google won't ever penalize you, and you can put schemas on all of your pages and all of your services as long as it's a unique, right? A unique review that's never been mentioned on a schema or on a GMB before. How long would it take for a brand new domain to be listed on page 1 or 2? I've gone 4 weeks. Honestly, it depends on the competition. The fastest that I've ever done has been 12 hours on a brand new sandbox thing, but it had like no competition for a keyword. For page 1 or 2, like you could literally rank like plumbing service Dallas 55112, whatever. You can rank that, like probably not Dallas, maybe like, I really don't know Dallas enough. Fort Collins, I have no idea. You could rank that keyword in like, if you have a website, you could rank that keyword like in a week. Like you really could rank that keyword overnight. If you have a brand new website and you want to get ranking on 1 and 2, there are ways to get up there, but you kind of want to make that, if it's a client, you want to make sure you actually maintain the rankings. Oh boy. Start off with like the keyword difficulty 0 keywords first, then build context and build the good keywords. Honestly, you can get keyword difficulty zeros in like weeks, months, for sure. COVID-related business that needs to rank high and fast. You could just talk to me. My guy, my SEO guy, he's really, really good at just doing like rankings overnight. Like I told him, hey man, can you like rank all my websites? He's like, yeah, just give me like 24 hours. But we use special tools for that, and I spend money for that. I can't just like do it for fun. Like it's link building, right? Again, to answer this, it's based on the competition and keyword difficulty. I haven't had much success with ranking, so working on creating new content. Do you think some Fiverr freelancers are reliable? Sure. Weed them out, go through the mud. Like Fiverr, you get what you pay for, and I'm not gonna like make a YouTube video like I bought Fiverr links and I got to the first page. Like that doesn't happen. If that happened, then that guy would be a millionaire because he get his own clients paying thousands of bucks a month. So if you go cheap, you're gonna get cheap results. Most freelancers they spam. Like I paid. I'm not kidding. I paid some of them, and they build off like this guy was obviously like in India, and he made a site off of like a Hindu blog. And so I start getting like Indian traffic. I'm like, dude, what? And I saw it was an article that was spun. I'm like, dude, I don't want that. But for writing content, just go on Craigslist. There's websites where you can just hire freelance writers. Don't pay more than $30 per article. Sometimes I find writers that are good for like $25 for like 2,000 words, and they like that. They need to pay your rent. Right? Don't pay more than that. If you're trying to pay for like sales copy, like you're going to pay a lot more, but as long as it's unique, and also always pass it through Copyscape. I have a way that I can write a piece of content in like 2 minutes, and it could be 3,000 words. It's not going to pass Copyscape. What's your opinion on services like Fat Joe and RhinoRank? Link building sucks. It sucks. It sucks. They replace it. They replace that, and it's a premium, obviously. So they build links for you, and there's ways that they do like white hat outreach. And white hat outreach is slow and boring, and it sucks, but you can do it. It's not hard to do it. Here, I'll show you how you can basically replace Fat Joe and RhinoRank in like 10 seconds. Just look up, let's say you have a niche like home improvement, right? Plus guest post. So these are websites that mention home improvement, and you can send a guest post, like, right? So you can also look up like Write for Us. So basically, if I click on these, right, there's tons, there's literally dozens, right? And I can go and say, hey, would you like to contribute to a home decor idea blog? Please send your submissions here. Why would you pay Fat Joe hundreds of dollars to do what you're doing? You can pay someone $25 for like a decent article. They add the links, maybe $30, or Fat Joe can make that for you. Fat Joe also like reaches out to webmasters, and let's say I have an article that I have. Let's imagine this is like an actual like blog post. I get an email from Fat Joe saying, hey, I have a kitchen redesign company, link to my company, I'll pay you like $100. They go in, they edit, so they make this a link to the client's website, and then they get paid. Why charge a premium? Like, why would you pay a premium? Like, obviously I understand why they charge a premium. They have a good network, so it's fast and it's convenient, but it's stuff that you can do yourself, or you can hire a VA to do it. Like I have a template that you can use for building out like backlinks. I learned from WebRes. Like these guys have like a really good backlinking and outreach strategy. These guys really cool. I mean, I could just tell you how I do it, but I think they're cool. I don't need to do it. I have my own method. Do you think content-based SEO blog posts is effective for local businesses? Citations and local and GME up. There's ways to automate it, but it helps. If you have more citations than your competitor, you're going to win. More citations, better reviews. If you don't have any reviews, tell them to like offer work for free until they get reviews. Like that's stupid. You have to have better reviews and more reviews, right? Because if it doesn't matter if they're up here at the tippy top, it does not matter if they have like no reviews. If I'm trying to have my taxes done and this company has 0 reviews, I'm gonna think that they're like a guy that just like is doing it out of his house, just like a weirdo, or like an established company. I'm gonna go with this guy. I'm gonna go with this guy. All these are good options, right? I read top to down, so here, then here, then here, right? That's how I consider. Like that's normal. Citations and the Google optimization brings people up here. If you have blog posts, that helps them show up here. But you can have the blog post in the Google My Business too, right? As long as that's unique, you'll be fine. But I'm a fan of doing the business citations and content and making sure that Google My Business is taken care of. And there's secret ways. That's only really like, not everything, but start there and it'll move the needle for most businesses. Like you'll be surprised. Okay, cool. It's been 3 hours, guys. What I'm going to do, I'm going to slow down. I only set aside 2 hours for this, and I kind of went ahead. I need to take care of some client stuff. I got a few new clients this week. I kind of actually got to follow up with them and sign, have them pay with the contracts and stuff. If you guys left an answer in the polls, that would be cool. If there's anything that you guys have that you guys want to ask me, make sure you join the Discord. So like 50 of us are in here now. I only brought in like the first 30, or only like 300 people off of Reddit. So cool, I got displaced. Oh God. So if you guys have any questions, just ask me in Discord. If you need help, just ask me. If you have a website that you want me to build for you, like it doesn't take much for me to, like I showed you with the website, you just build it. If you need a list of small businesses that you want to reach out to, if you want to learn how to email 100 or 1,000 businesses every day, just ask. Just ask it in the Discord. If you want to learn how to like basically cold call businesses and ask them to do an audit for them, just ask me. Ask me in Discord. But I'm just gonna go ahead and like get back to work. But I appreciate everyone being here. Yeah, cool. I got into marketing actually when I was like your age. I'm not kidding. So like I'm 28, man. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this up for any questions, but I appreciate everyone being here. I'm gonna do another one and it's gonna be not so explanative. I'm not gonna go in and just educate, I'm just gonna go and do it. So I'm gonna do that later. All right. Where can you find this recording? It's been the best webinar of this lockdown. All right. Okay. I'm basically just going to answer questions in Discord while I work. Anyway, I'm going to stop recording and I appreciate everyone being here. Cheers, guys.